Orange Lounge Radio. With your hosts, Dark Sakura, Sky, and Loki.
Tonight, we interview Lunar Games, creators of the Kickstarted title Timespinner, a 2D Metroidvania platformer coming to multiple systems next year. We'll have this and much more, along with your questions in chat, calls, and emails right here on the show, where every gamer has a voice.
Orange Lounge Radio.
Hello, my friends out there on the internet, and welcome back to another week of the show where every gamer has a voice. It is Orange Lounge Radio live with this episode number 571 for today, which is October the 12th, 2014. My name is Rob Roberts, joined by my co-host. Say hello here in studio to the one and only Dark Sakura, or Jamie Summers.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I did a thing today.
What did you do today?
I slept a lot.
You slept a lot. Congratulations.
No, I did another thing today, but you'll find about that during what I played.
Oh, my. Okay. Well, you had a very me day, and I had a very you day, because to reward myself, because we have a big show tonight. Tonight, it's like OLR is taped in front of a live studio audience. We have so many people here in the studio, but I'll get to that in a
laugh
minute.
track.
Since we have a busy show tonight, and I did a performance last night, because as you know, I do the Shadowcast theater stuff, although as I announced on the show a couple weeks ago, that's all going to be winding down very soon. So my next to last show was last night. So I rewarded myself with tacos today. So I had a very Jamie
amazing.
day. Tacos are great. So there you go.
Tacos are amazing.
Awesome. All right. Also amazing. Say hello to Techmaster Loki.
Hi.
Hi. How are you, Loki?
Clean spam.
Cleaning spam. Are you getting attacked by the spam bots on your email account again?
I just haven't checked it in like a couple days, and so I have a million messages.
Uh-oh. And it's like, would you like to enlarge your penis? Or would you like to enter the lottery in Nigeria? Or whatever spams.
No, it's increase the value of your home. Mysterious water of life vanishes.
I love it when I get those emails that are like, increase the value of your home. It's like, I'm a renter. Delete. All right, anyway. We do tape live every Sunday night at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern to the Voice of Geeks Network, vognetwork.com, right after the Bobby Blackwolf Show. And we do have a very busy show tonight. We have, as mentioned there in the intro, Bodie Lee from Lunar Games going to join us in about 25 minutes here to talk all about what they're up to and their game Timespinner. That's going to be awesome. But here in studio, we have a very packed house, so I want to get to it here, kicking off tonight, introducing our guests. First off, this is a name you might recognize if you've been listening to OLR for a very, very, very long time, but she hasn't been here in way too long. So welcome back to the show. Princess Irene is here tonight. Hi, Princess Irene.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing pretty well. How about you?
Good.
Great.
All right, so we're all caught up. Let's move on. No, I'm kidding. What? So for those that haven't heard you on the show before, you've been a gamer as long as I've known you, which has been a very long time. I remember we used to play DDR together and all that fun stuff. What kind of games do you like? Like, what are your favorite sorts of games?
Well, obviously, rhythm-based games. That's kind of how we met. Well, not how we met, but a lot of our friends. I like RPGs. I like puzzle games. I'm sounding like the, I don't know, stereotypical, like, girl gamer or something. But, it's kind of on an independent case. I just judge it based on, like, what I see. So, yeah.
But you also play a lot of, like, recent stuff, too, because I noticed before we were getting started here, there was, like, a Smash 3DS brawl going on during Bobby's show, so.
Yes, yeah.
Is that what you've been into kind of lately?
Yeah, I mean, I'm Poe, so we just got a 3DS last year. We actually got two of them. But I've been loving it, and I've been trying to catch up on a backlog of games on the 3DS, so that's been great. And, yeah, I got Smash Brothers for my 1-year wedding anniversary, so isn't that romantic?
Oh, congratulations. No, that is. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Aw. And your husband's a giant nerd, too, so,
Yes, yeah.
The couple that plays together stays together. Wink.
Indeed.
Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, you're getting a lot of welcomes there. Like, yay, Irene. Yay, hi, Irene.
Oh, hi,
yay,
everyone.
Rice Princess. Yay, anniversaries, because you used to go by that name, and then you switched because, you can.
Yeah, I wanted to be less racist. No, I'm kidding. But thanks for remembering me, guys. Aw, hearts and feels.
So while you've been gone, this is interesting, though, because while you've been gone, I mean, I don't think you've been on OLR in probably at least a year and a half. It's probably been almost longer.
It's more than that, yeah.
It's been a while. But while you've been gone, you just decided to start your own show.
Not really. I was invited onto another show by another person who's here tonight, and it's just worked out. So yeah.
No, we say support indie podcasting, and I actually think that is like super fucking awesome that you're doing your own thing right now.
Yeah.
Because you guys are focused on like retro type of games, right?
We don't really like to call ourselves a retrocast, but it ends up being a retrocast because we're all like really old gamers. So it's usually what it is. Everything, new is crappy and everything old is good. So kind of pretty much. So.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Well, it's appropriate that you're here tonight when we're going to be talking to somebody who's developing a new game, but very influenced by the retro stuff.
I've heard a thing or two about this game. So.
Let's be real. You actually put this on my radar. So,
I did.
And I'm glad you
I
did.
Kind of begged you for it. Yeah. But I'm excited. So.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, let's talk to your co-host who's also joining us here tonight. Say hello, everybody. I didn't ask if he has an alias. Do you have an alias that you use, or should I call you by your name, or what?
The universal handle is usually the Mad Piper.
Okay.
Whatever you find.
So Mad Piper it is. How you doing?
I'm well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks. I'm excited.
All right. Tell us a little bit about what you and Irene do on your show.
It's called the Multitap Podcast. It's on the Fistful of Potions network. Like you guys have the VOG network here. But it's mainly just, I don't know if we even have a theme really. It's a lot of tangentry. And, it's loosely based around older video games or newer video games.
Not familiar with tangentry.
No, we don't. We only stick to business here. You're on the wrong show, buddy. I'm sorry to say.
I probably won't talk a lot.
All right. Well, okay, since you guys are retro fans, what are some of your retro classics? Because I've known her forever, but I've only just met you, although I've heard your show. But what are some of your favorite classics?
Goodness. I think I mentioned Super Mario RPG on every episode. Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, really like big ones, but there's some that just really stick out for me. I'm really liking Theatrhythm though, but my poor 3DS is in the shop.
What happened?
So I found out there's a numbskull somewhere that built the 3DS, and the motherboard is warped. So when it was in assembly, it's those little hooks that you can put a lanyard on. Thank you. So the motherboard was put on top of that, or I guess one corner of the motherboard was kind of assembled on top of that, and so it's having a hard time. It won't read the SD card anymore.
Now, you're getting some hellos in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Bochikawa says, hello, Piper. Great radio voice. Link to podcast.
Hi. It would be, I guess, at fop.net. You can find it on the webpage. Yeah, FFOP.
Oh, okay. I thought he said something else for a minute. There was like the FAP. What is this?
FAPnet. If you listen to the show, you'll understand. You'll feel a sudden urge.
So this is FFOP.
This is FOP.
Okay.
Fop.net. It's Fistful of Potions. Or I think spelt out fistfulofpotions.com. And then we're on the webpage, or on iTunes, or on YouTube. We have a playlist up on YouTube, so you can find it fairly easily.
Nice. Awesome. So tell us about like what you talked about on your most recent episode, if people go check it out.
We had actually, we went out of sequence, but we did episode Mighty Number 9 to celebrate Mighty Number 9 coming out, I guess, soon. So we couldn't talk about that very much, so we just kind of talked a lot about Mega Man.
That's fine.
We had nothing else. But it was a good time.
We were going to talk about Mighty Number 9, but then we realized nobody's played it. Right. So we'll just talk about Mega Man. It works.
Yeah.
Which one's the best Mega Man? Ooh.
You have to listen to the podcast. No, I'm
asking you now.
Oh, man. Oh, for me?
Yeah.
I like X.
You like X?
I like X.
Really?
But it's one of the few I've played.
You dare to not say 2 or 3.
I've played 1, 2, and 3 and X, and I think I loved X the most just from nostalgia's sake from when I was little. It did the most for me. You got armor.
Yeah, you
extra,
did.
Not back to canisters. What are those? Energy capsules.
Mm-hmm. I think 2 will always be my favorite. But again, I think that's a nostalgia thing. Like, I had played 1 when it was new, but then 2 is that game you saw on Nintendo Power, and you were like, this looks like a freaking cartoon. These graphics are so amazing. Oh my God, my mind is blown. And then the game comes out, and it really does, like, for graphics at the time, looked so good. Like, some of those, like, I remember the giant fish and Bubble Man stage. Like, that was amazing.
You got to listen to the episode. We have one of our co-hosts is Bubble Man's #1 fanboy.
Okay.
So
all right. Wow.
You said the right one.
That is okay. That's something.
Master.
Bubble Man's fanboy. That's.
We also talk about Bubble Man's wiry remains. Or wiry corpses.
Nice. Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Somebody over there, Rageinator, is quickly registering fafap.com. So there you go.
Oh, man.
Act Deft says, I'm still waiting for Mega Man X20. Bochikawa says Mega Man 9. Oh, sorry. No, that's Mighty number 9. So feels like classic Mega Man to me, even though you dash constantly everywhere. Now, some people have played it because there's that beta for the backers of a certain level on Steam, right? Yeah.
That's none of us.
Let's see. And Dungeon Buster agrees Mega Man 2 is so good. Well, because you have good taste, sir. All right. We're going to move on. I'm going to introduce one other guy we have here in studio. I told you guys it was a full house here tonight. Not only do we have our friends here from the Multitap Podcast on FFOP, but we have another old friend of OLR back tonight making his yearly visit to the studio. Say hello, everybody, to Jayveemon.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, pretty good. You?
Good. Are you just flew in from New York City the other day, right?
Yeah. My sister had gotten married this past weekend, so, I figured I might as well show up.
Might as well. Well, that's still really awesome because you usually, when you come visit, your sister, from what I recall, is in the Bay Area somewhere.
Yeah.
And we're still a good 2-hour drive from the Bay Area, so that's still, dedication.
Like an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on traffic.
Yeah, okay.
But,
So did you get a lot of wine at the wedding?
Yeah. It wasn't like free bar for like liquor or beer, but like wine, they were just like cases and cases and cases of wine. And, today they were picking everything up. They had maybe like 1 or 2 bottles of wine left out of like 15 cases, and all the kegs were still almost full.
Nice.
My family likes wine.
Now, our other guests were promoting a podcast, and I know you used to do one, but you're podcast list right now, right?
No, it started.
Oh, you did?
Again.
Oh, yay!
It's about 1 episode every month or so.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, you do it when you do it.
Still about Eurobeat.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we have a lot of fans of like DDR, and so if you like that kind of music, this is gonna be right up your alley, right?
Yeah, and we sort of been inspired by Orange Lounge Radio, so we kind of get on the tangent train all the time.
Nice.
Because it's not a good podcast if you don't have tangents.
That's very humbling to hear that. Although to be fair, I don't think we invented the tangent here at Orange Lounge Radio. But all right, hey,
I'm giving you credit, so take it.
I'll take it. That's awesome. So you guys, do you play a lot of the music, or you just talk about it, or how does that work?
Both.
Both?
Because, you can't really just play the music straight for copyright reasons. So
right.
I like to think we got away with it for talking over it and keeping it in a low volume. Just skirting the issue completely.
Sure.
It's like, this is a gray area.
It's a gray area. But, I mean, you tend to play stuff from, like, probably, let's be real, most people probably haven't heard, at least in America. Right?
Yeah.
So,
although recently in the past few years, Avex has been putting a lot of it on American iTunes. So it's kind of like years and years and years. US doesn't exist. And then like 2008-9 happened. It's like everything on iTunes at once.
Yeah. Well, that's been happening a lot with like video game soundtracks and other types of things that, I remember we used to have you'd have the one corner of the comic book shop that would have like the import CDs from Japan, where it's like you have a Final Fantasy soundtrack and a, Hamasaki Ayumi CD, and that's about it.
Yeah, and then they'd want like $70 for 5 songs, and it's like, you're smoking crack.
That's still A1 Comics.
Is that, you still do that there?
Except they do that for the bootlegs.
Well, and then I remember when it was the giant Virgin Megastore in, and this is not a place to buy virgins. It was, Richard Branson. But it was a Virgin Megastore in San Francisco, right, not far from the Metron. Used to have like all the, not just the Japanese imports, but then it was all like the Euro singles. So it's like, if there's like a Kylie Minogue song you haven't heard, they probably have it at the Virgin Megastore, right?
I wasted a lot of money at Virgin Megastore.
Oh, you're a Kylie fan too?
No, I was an import. I was a Ministry of Sound fan, and I used to pick up a bunch of different mixed CDs from all these European imports, and they're like, I spent hundreds of dollars there.
Now. Mm-hmm. Let's rewind this a little bit to the same era for me in Alabama.
Okay.
Oh, I could order this for $100 with shipping? I'm ordering the single.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Yes.
That's how much it would cost to get a game imported from Japan.
I can order a Super Famicom game for only $120? Yes, I'll order the Sailor Moon S fighting game. True story.
Gosh. Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Let's see. Loco Poco says OLR perfected the tangent. Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. SSG 100 Matt says the things I'm hearing at a New York Comic Con is that it's a mess. Oh, Jayveemon, you ran out of town the weekend New York Comic Con's happening. How do you feel about that?
Around the time I was going to buy tickets, my sister's like, by the way, my wedding's the weekend of the 11th. And I'm like, God damn. And I'm not
You
gonna
need to move your wedding.
That's kind of pretty much what I told her. I was like, it can't be the week before and after. She's like, nope, it's the 11th. And I'm like, well, you suck.
Yeah. No,
And I'm not going to lie, I sort of considered it. I was like, do I have to go for the whole weekend for the wedding? Can I just show up that morning?
Well, then does that make it, like, be honest, does it make you kind of feel better that you're hearing that New York Comic Con's a little bit of a mess? Because you're like, oh, since I couldn't go anyway, fuck them.
That, and I hear there's like this whole nonsense with banned weapons. Like if it wasn't made out of
I saw
cardboard.
like garbage pails filled with weapons.
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
I think if it wasn't made out of cardboard or foam, they pretty much, I'm hearing conflicting reports. They either took it from you and threw it out, or they took it from you and you got it back at the end of the day. Either way, that's like, people work hard on that stuff. That's kind of BS.
Yeah, well, I mean, but if that's the policy of the con, you didn't read up on the policy or whatever.
But I also heard that they had like conflicting policies. Like their mobile site said one thing regarding weapons, and the actual like PC site said something else.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't. Maybe there's an overreaction too, because I don't know if you've been on Twitter this week or whatever, but people like legitimately went fucking crazy. This
people
week on
went
Twitter.
Crazy on Twitter.
I know, right?
But did they have a ball pit? Was there a ball pit? Because that's really the most important part.
Hopefully Rama went. Actually, I think John from Critical Myth went, so we might get the ball pit report from John if a little later.
I know that Kayla went,
Okay.
so I can ask her. She's
So-
actually cosplaying a couple of people.
We have spies.
Yeah, well, I know that the big stink was about them confiscating cosplay props.
Right.
Rana might have been too busy with that Buff Boys van outside of his place.
Oh, that's great that none of the listeners are going to know what that is. Let's see. Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. ActDev says, people went crazy on the internet? No way. Dungeon Buster says, the arsenal of foam freedom. So, like, Nerf weapons were banned, too? That would be really sad.
No, I think like you could only get through if it was foam. So
Oh,
you
okay.
could
Well, that's good.
Nerf up the place.
Nerf weapons are fun. Like, why would you not have a Nerf weapon? Like, that's the honest question.
So they just stuck to the policy. It's Nerf or nothing.
Amazing. All right. We're just about 10 minutes out from our interview, but we're going to start tonight by going around and finding out for everybody here in studio, how was your gaming week and what types of video games have you been playing this week? Kind of establishing our frame of reference here before we get too far into the show. Dark Sakura, start us off.
I played Super Smash Brothers because I woke up after Yom Kippur and found that waiting for me, and I was like, ooh. So I've got that. Trying to remember to finish playing Bravely Default, which I've been sort of, because I've been so busy at work, I haven't really had a chance to. Final Fantasy 14, which I'm chopping down trees and stealing things from them. And today we did the thing. We broke out the ignition pads to test them with DDR Max. So
DDR
Dan and I played DDR this morning.
Wow. Like legit, like DDR Max on PS2?
On our JPS2.
Wow.
Which is like, I can't, I'm old. I can't let my drawer out. You better sneak that disc in 5 nanoseconds or that's going to go, no, I'm taking it back.
Wow.
So our PS2 first model still works. Barely. So that's what we've been doing.
What made you decide to play that of all things? Was it just
To
like...
make sure our dance pads worked.
Oh, that's right. You guys have a move coming up, so you
We
probably
picked
want
up
to take
3
inventory.
ignition pads at the thrift store for $6.
Real? I want one.
Well, one of them was given away. We have 2 left. I didn't break yours.
Why didn't you call me
You gave it
first?
to me.
All right.
Somebody. It was. You knew I had those because I played it on the internet 3 years ago.
All
Look
I
what I
hear-
got at the thrift store by
All
my
I'm hearing are
house.
excuses. No, I'm kidding. It's fine. It's fine.
So
Let's be real. Me playing DDR is my big butt on the couch with
Well-
a controller going up, down, left, right, up, down.
well, you know what? When I clean out the closet, when we start getting rid of parts of the vault, then I'll call you. We actually are going to be packing up the vault coming up this week.
I'll help you move,
Oh
but
my-
if games go missing.
I'm not looking forward to packing the vault because we're not keeping the shelves.
Moving is punishment for murder in some countries. I'm almost positive.
I'm going to have to take pictures of the shelves and put them up somewhere before we disassemble the shelves and get rid of them. And we're planning on getting bins for everything. So we're probably going to go off on tangents and say, let's see if this game still works. Let's see if this game still works. Oh, this is in the box. We could get $500 for this.
You should make a YouTube series out of this. I'm telling you, this is a golden opportunity here.
Effort.
I know. It's so difficult. Anything else quickly before we move on?
I like pie.
Loki, how was your gaming week?
I was programming. I didn't play anything.
It's still continuing on your programming request.
Yeah, I have been...
this is your time between jobs right now, right?
Well, not much. I start a week from Monday.
Okay.
So, we'll potentially start. It's either a week from Monday or 3 weeks from Monday.
Okay, whenever they decide. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, just watching the kids. So, but yeah, I've been lots of programming. I've been programming tools to make levels. So, nice. I finished that, and I was converting some stuff over to make it work with the new stuff, and I just found the mistake I made. So, I have to go back and fix that. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. I registered a site domain and a Twitter account. So,
can you unveil the name of your company now, or are we waiting on that?
Well, I don't really have a company yet. It's placeholder because in order to file a trademark, you have to have evidence that you are using it. Mm-hmm. And so I have to have a website with the name of my game on it. For a while.
Got it.
And I actually have to build a website. And then once I've done that, then I can file paperwork to register the name, the trademark, and I don't know about trademarking the company. It's expensive.
Seems like a lot. Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, later
just don't steal Loki's name or you're a dick. That's basically how it boils down to, right?
Yeah. So it's so I've got that, and I don't know. I've been just kind of bouncing around a bunch of different things. I looked for music earlier this week, but mainly just coding stuff. And now I'm pretty much done with the spot I was at. I was just getting a bunch of stuff. I was kind of trying to model the tools I'm making off of stuff that's like the same kind of tools that they have for making levels in Minecraft, like kind of like the world builder stuff or like voxel sniper or something like that. So I'm building similar things because that's what I've used before to make stuff in Minecraft, and that was super easy. And so since a lot of the stuff that I'm making for my levels is voxel based, even though it's not all cubes, I kind of based it off of that, just to get some ideas for things to make it a little bit easier than plotting one block at a time, which would take fucking forever. So we'll see. I still haven't gotten to actually test yet because it hasn't worked yet because I still have to fix this other bug here. I changed something that I thought I needed to change, but I didn't. So.
Bug testing. What the life.
Yeah.
All right. I'll move on to my gaming week, then we'll get to our guests here. For my gaming week, I finally got my 70 hardcore character in Diablo 3 Seasonal. Thank you very much. Finally, it took me forever, but because I was too afraid to play on high difficulties because I didn't want to die. But I did. That was my first hardcore character ever, and I made it all the way to 70 without dying on a Demon Hunter. So yay!
Are you going to encase it in glass and make sure no one ever touches it?
Pretty much. No, now that I got that and that was the goal, now's where I'm going to start playing really stupid. So this character will die at some point because I'm going to keep pushing the envelope but that's okay because I reached the goal I wanted to reach, and that's the important thing. So I got my stupid transmog stuff in Diablo, so that made me very happy. I also played the Bayonetta 2 demo. Again, I don't want to rate a game based off the demo, but let me just say the Bayonetta 2 demo definitely reminded me like, oh yes, you need this game day one, because the first Bayonetta was so freaking great, and Bayonetta 2, it definitely just kind of reminds you, at least the demo's very short. It's like one playable level and like 2 boss fights, but it's just enough to remind you, oh god, this game is so over the top and amazing, like, oh, I miss this shit. So yeah, I'm definitely going to pick that up when that comes out. Otherwise, those were pretty much the bulk of my week. A little bit of Final Fantasy 14 here and there. Destiny. Oh, one other game I want to mention, actually, that came out on PlayStation Plus. I've been playing an awful lot of, because PlayStation Plus got some really good stuff this week. You have Dust and Elysian Tale, which I just started, but I've barely scratched the surface on that. Spelunky, which I've played the crap out of on PC and PlayStation 3. But there was also another game in it, and I'm afraid this one's going to get overlooked, and I actually think it's one that's almost most deserving of your time, is Pix the Cat. Is the name, which is kind of a silly name, right? But this game is available on Vita and PlayStation 4, and it's not like a technical marvel. Like, the graphics are really things that probably could have been done on a PlayStation 2 or 3, but it's it has a very like classic arcade feel to it that makes it very addicting. And essentially it's kind of like Pac-Man mixed with I don't know, more or like Pac-Man Championship Edition kind of mixed with a puzzler sort of thing. Because what you do is you go around, you pick up these eggs, and then you drop them off in the little holes. But if you screw up and do it out of order where you don't pick up all the eggs first, then the eggs will crack and you don't get the bonus, so your meter doesn't fill up as much. So it's about pushing a high score like a classic arcade game is. Yeah, Irene?
So this involves cats somehow?
I don't know why it's called Pix the Cat, because I don't remember actually like seeing. Oh, in the nostalgia mode, it's a black and white cat with like a little top hat.
Well, I was gonna say it looks like that's a cat in the picture.
I guess a little bit. I don't remember. I don't remember it having a lot of like cat traits to it. It's not like
It's
Nintendo
got cat
cats.
teeth and ears and a tail.
Fair enough. But yeah, for some reason I'm like super addicted to this game. I keep like trying to rush the high scores and everything. So and it's, you know, the loud techno music, and I swear they got the guy from Bejeweled to do some of the voices. You know, it's like Ultra Combo, you know, that type of thing. Like he does like some of the voices in this game too. You can change the voice to some, but you want Bejeweled guy who does all the like, you know, you got it perfect, you know, that type of stuff. So yeah, that game is like a surprising amount of fun. I've actually been playing that more than Spelunky or Dust, which surprised me because I thought I'd be playing the other two first. So it just goes to show you that a game doesn't necessarily need to have all these like extreme bells and whistles to be addicting. So there you go. Quickly, let's check in with our guests here and see what types of games they've been playing this week. Irene.
Well, I already mentioned Super Smash Brothers, so I don't really need to get into that because everyone already knows. I'm actually playing Oracle of Seasons because they had the Super Smash sale like a couple weeks ago. Yeah, and I bought Ages and Seasons, and they didn't have Link's Awakening on sale, and I'm like, what the fuck, guys? But yeah, so that's been fun. Then off and on Bravely Default. That's always an ongoing project, and that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you are making good use of that 3DS.
Absolutely.
You don't just like play that one game and then go back to something else like I've been doing way too much lately.
I know you've never been poor, Rob, but it's what poor people do. They cherish what they have. So.
Yeah, right. I talked to you before the show about when the PS1 demo disc came. It was like, here's my game for the month. Yay. It's the first stage of Parappa 50 times I can play. Yay.
You and me both, sister.
But how much, knowing that, where it's like, I'm going to play the first stage of Parappa 50 times, how much does it piss you off to see that Nintendo limits it to like 30 or whatever?
It depends on the demo. I'm more sad that some of the demos are just kind of really, really, like we were talking about the Theat Rhythm demo where it was just 2 songs. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, why just 2 songs? What the hell? But... so I wouldn't get 30 plays out of that anyway because it's like, I'm bored.
Yeah, realistically, I would never hit the 30 cap on these demos. But Bayonetta 2 is 15. They're getting less. Pretty soon, it's going to be like, you get 3.
Yeah.
Better make it count.
Yeah. There's no real logical reason to limit it.
It better be nice because pretty soon they're only going to have 15 games coming out in a year. With all the third-party support that they're losing.
I was like, the Wii U had 15 games this year.
Third-party, yeah, there's lots of third-party games.
Fair enough.
I mean, a lot of third-party terrible games, but I mean, I don't know.
All right, let me move on and check in with Piper. How was your gaming week? What types of games have you been playing this week?
I've been working a rigorous job, growing a beard.
It's hard work.
Yeah, my 3DS is broken. I had to take it in the shop, so I bought Theat Rhythm and then didn't get to play it. I don't know what I can say here. My PSP got something done to it when it undergone elective surgery.
Okay, so you just kind of left it somewhere, and then suddenly it was able to do these things it couldn't do before.
When I picked it back up, I can play any Mega Man or Nintendo game that I want on it.
Oh my gosh, mutant powers.
Yes.
It got bitten by a spider.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I've been abusing its mutant power on lunch breaks. And reading comic books.
Very controversial.
So that's my weekend gaming.
All right. Retro gaming makes sense.
You know what else can play any Nintendo game you want? This wonderful arcade cabinet that's sitting very underutilized right here.
I know. I've still got to set this thing up. You must have missed the part where I had a show last night, and then I'm going to Vegas next week. So getting this thing finished is not on my priority list. Sorry, Logie.
Oh, I see what it is. You're just better than the game.
Yeah. All right.
I'm taking my chocolate back.
To be fair, and absolutely fair, it does not have Miss World new,
I know.
96
That's why
on
I
it.
was like, let it collect dust. If it didn't have
Oh,
Miss
then there's
Nude
no
World,
point
At
to
least I don't think it does. It might be on there, but the playlist.
the minute I get it up and running, that's the first thing I'm going to make happen. Like, how do I get Miss Nude World 96?
Okay, well,
on
I
this
just have
thing?
to back up my collection from
Everybody,
my arcade
move your body.
cabinet at home and bring it here, and then that way it will have that on there.
All right. Which, by the way, if you've never heard of Miss Nude World 96, I'll have to get into it another week. We got to get to our guest here in a minute. But lastly here, Jayveemon, how was your gaming week?
Hi. Smash Brothers. Super Metroid with my boyfriend and Dead Rising 3. Smash Brothers. And I think... Oh, yeah, I played Smash Brothers.
Okay, you
I
did.
don't know if anybody's heard of Smash Brothers?
I think I had heard a couple things about who's your go-to character right now?
I don't know. I kind of just like to pick random, although because I'm confused by him, I play the Duck Hunt dog a lot. Because why?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those, like, I'm drawn to your strangeness type of thing, right?
Like, the duck and dog are usually enemies, so
How do
they're
you
friends
feel
now?
How do you feel about Smash on the 3DS as opposed to, being on a console living room television? Because, when I talked about it last week, I kind of said, my biggest problem with Smash 3DS is that it's on the 3DS.
I could sort of see that, but probably for a different reason. Half the fun of Smash is playing with somebody else, and when you're on a 3DS, you sort of kind of coordinate with somebody. It's like, are you going to be online? Want to play Smash? No? Okay. Move on to the next person.
Right.
I mean, I have no problem with the small screen. I think it looks fine. I think it looks good. It's just playing by yourself can get boring.
Okay, fair enough. Yes?
I'll tell you in chat.
Okay. Is it are we going to settle this in Smash? Is that what's going to happen there? All right. Well, there we go. There's everybody's gaming week. But we are going to actually, at this point, we're going to move on into our interview part of the show because we want to get here on the show. Bodie Lee is going to join us from Lunar Games, and they are currently creating the game Timespinner. Timespinner is a game created in the vein of Super Nintendo and PlayStation 1 classics like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Super Metroid, and Star Ocean. And Bodie is going to join us right now. Bodie, you there?
Hello.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am great, and we can actually see you. I'm waving hello, although you can't see it. I'm sorry, but we're running on a computer that's powered by a hamster, so I'm afraid to run a webcam. But thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule in developing the game to join us here.
No problem.
Now, for those that don't know about Time Spinners, tell us a little bit about it.
Timespinner is a 2D Metroidvania about a young woman who travels through time to get revenge on an empire that killed her family.
So this side sounds like a really nice, fluffy, happy kind of story, isn't it?
No. It's a little on the darker side.
Oh, boy. Okay, well, no, that's all right. And I noticed that Timespinner definitely has like an art style to it that feels very it's very retro, very sprite based and so forth. What made you decide to kind of go that direction with it?
I've always liked pixel art, and so when I was making the game, when I've been learning pixel art since like middle school, I've been trying to kind of incorporate all the styles of games that I like. So, for example, like the game has some art influences from Final Fantasy Tactics, and it has some from like the Castlevania games and like Star Ocean and other stuff. So as I learned, I just took my favorite parts of other games, and that's how the game style happened.
Nice. So you actually, and reading through your site on Lunar Games and so forth, you mentioned there that you actually used to work for Bungie, which I'm sure a lot of people know with Halo and Destiny and all that. But you actually ended up, kind of leaving that to start this endeavor. That's a huge life change. What made you decide to make that change?
I think I just caught the indie bug. Last May of 2013, I saw a Kickstarter for a similar game to Timespinner called Chasm. It's also pixel art, also Metroidvania, but it's also procedurally generated, which Timespinner isn't really. And I didn't know that Kickstarter was something that you did for games. I thought it was something that you did if you were going to start a restaurant or something like start a small business. I didn't realize that you could be really successful with games. And so they did really well, and I'm super excited for the game, and the idea got in my head that, hey, I could do this too, since at this time I had been working on Timespinner on my off time for probably like 4 years at that point.
Wow.
And eventually I would just spend the whole day at work daydreaming about doing that, and I kind of lost interest in, I like to use the word that I was cheating on Bungie with Timespinner, and I left Bungie to, get married to someone else.
I love it. You were having an affair, so you finally
Yes.
had to step up and admit that you've been cheating. So
Yeah.
no, that's amazing. I love that. But you did very well on Kickstarter, considering that this is, I mean, yes, it's been a project you've been working on for so long, but you did very well on Kickstarter for, essentially this being your company's first game. What do you think was part of that success? Why did people really buy into this? I mean, literally.
I mean, since the Chasm Kickstarter, I had been backing games that were very similar to that for like the year leading up to my Kickstarter, and I was just studying all of them about what made them successful, what things they did that were good, what things were bad, and I tried to kind of hit on all of those good points and not hit the bad points. I think a big part of the allure specifically for Timespinner was that it was darker, and it had the 16-bit style of sprite art rather than like the more popular right now is like the 8-bit, like normal Nintendo sprite art style.
Right.
And also I think that like the trailer for the game was really kind of story heavy and just heavy in general. I think I felt like a lot of people related to that, or at least they were like, hey, this reminds me of kind of darker Castlevania games.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to get on board with this.
I think there's just a lot of love out there for the Metroidvania type of game anyway. I mean, I know, like, that's, you say Metroidvania, I perk up right there. I go, is this something I should be looking at? Like literally, I think that's how somebody sold me a copy of Rogue Legacy. They were like, Rob, it's Rogue, but a Metroidvania. And I was like, purchase. Things like that, right? So interesting, because you talk about you're inspired by these classics, but you're also inspired by a lot of indie games too. I mean, it sounds like you have these other indie Kickstarters. What types of how else have indie games kind of influenced you in the indie movement?
I mean, they're all inspiration in their own ways. Like Heart Forth Alicia is like, I don't know if you've seen it, but it was out a couple months before my Kickstarter, and it has like obscenely good sprite art, and that really inspires me to like do better, like be a better artist. And like Chasm has really good gameplay, and I mean, just all of these other Kickstarters and other indie games are really inspiring because people are doing their own thing, and I can do that too, and we can do it together.
I think that's so amazing too, that you are essentially doing this yourself, especially when you go and you look at the trailer for the game, which I encourage people to do. Check out what's going on with the game over at timespinnergame.com, and you can check out the latest trailer and so forth, and where you're at and all the artwork and all that. But you're essentially doing this yourself. I know you have some help with the music and voiceover, and I don't want to neglect those types of contributions, but a lot of that stuff when it comes to the art and the programming, you're doing that yourself. I mean, what's the hardest part about that one-man band?
I think the hardest part is that, I mean, for me, the hardest part is the inspiration for art. Like, it's really hard when you want to make something, but you don't have the right inspiration to do it, or when you go to make it, that it's not what you had originally imagined, and it's that sort of artistic failure is really frustrating. But that's really the only hard part. Like the programming part's like really simple and easy, since that's what I was trained to do in school. And yeah, the actual, that's probably the hardest part, is the art. And after the Kickstarter, actually, another hard part is actually being kind of anxious, I guess is the word, because there's now so much I have to do, and it's all on me. And a lot of other Kickstarters have talked about this, how it's like suddenly stressful, the fact that you have all these people behind you and they're expecting you to like finish, and you're like, I was planning on doing this, but now kind of anxious now.
Right. Loki here in studio, he's making his own game. He's doing the one-man band thing too, with the exception of like music and some of that stuff.
Well, music right now is just anything I can find Creative Commons, because I have no money.
I was wondering if you had any, and then Loki didn't go to school for this, but this is what Loki does, is he learns by doing type of things. So I was wondering if you had any advice for Loki on making your first game.
Just do it. Like the best way for me to learn things is by doing them and failing and learning from your mistakes. And also, if you need help with programming, just lots of Stack Overflow. That's generally what I do. Just Google, hey, how do I do this? And then Stack Overflow tells me what to do. I'm like, okay, got it, thanks.
Yeah, I did kind of the same place there, and same with coming up with assets and stuff. That's always difficult. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of what we're doing, I'm kind of seeing a lot of the same stuff right now. Just like, okay, I try to cut corners of different things and then end up having to go back and learn the right way to do it. So it's kind of fun.
Now, Bodie, I noticed one thing you do, you talked a minute before about kind of like feeling that pressure about like, I have to deliver this game that these people backed. But I thought one kind of clever thing that you're doing with this, and that kind of shows people like, yes, I am working. I didn't take your money and run to Tijuana. I'm actually working on this game. I'm doing it. You're doing live streams every week that really kind of like show the progress. I know there was one that I was catching on YouTube where I actually was watching you draw like one of the sprite art in the game, and I thought that was really cool. How have the live streaming that you've done helped kind of contribute to the game?
It's kind of a double-edged sword, because like normally when I work on art, I will work on it for a bit and then like take a break, go on a walk or something, and then come back to it. And with the live streams, I basically just sit there for 3 hours straight and work. So it's really good for productivity. And I actually kind of enjoy having people there, talking to me while it's happening, and then like suggesting things or giving me advice. Like, for example, at this week's stream, I was doing like a bird skeleton, and there was like a guy who's kind of like a biologist. He's helping me with all my bird anatomy.
You're doing it wrong. Oh no.
No, it was a good thing. Like I would be stuck on something, and I would ask them like, so wait, how does this work? And they tell me. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Got it.
That can be a bullet point on the list of features now. Authentic bird anatomy.
Yes. But I also really like the idea that, in a way, it takes the pressure off me, because I don't feel like I'm like hiding from them. Like a lot of Kickstarters, when they get delayed, a lot of people are like, oh, you aren't clear with the backers or something like that. Like you failed to be upfront. And I feel like the streams are a really good way for me to be like, hey, this is me and I'm doing it. So you can't ever say I'm not doing it, because this is me every week.
Now, what's really cool is that, if you somehow missed the boat on the Kickstarter, which I'm hanging my head in shame, I totally missed the Kickstarter. I didn't find out about this until later. But this is cool, because I can still buy the game. If I go to timespinnergame.com, you're still offering a lot of similar types of rewards on your site right now. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, if people want to actually kind of pre-order the game, they can do that, right?
Right. On that page, there's like 3 of the lowest Kickstarter tiers, or at least similar to them. They have like, you get the game for the lowest tier with like 1 in-game item, and then the next 2 tiers also have in-game items associated with them, and you also get like a soundtrack with the second tier, and the second tier also comes with development forum access. So on the development forum, it's a special part. Like, I have a forum for the game, and then there's a smaller subsection that has me like posting pictures of stuff I'm working on that I like wouldn't post on Tumblr because it's not quite finished, but it still gives people an opportunity to see how the game's coming, even beyond like the live streams.
So you are very upfront. I mean, you've got these live streams, you've got a forum. And this is just you, like, communicating with all this too. You're very busy. No wonder this is a full-time job now for you. So amazing. Now I have to thank Princess Irene here in studio because I mentioned I was unfortunately late to the party. I apologize, but actually Princess Irene's the one that turned me on to what you're doing there with Timespinner. So I was curious if Irene, because you've been following this project a little longer than I have, if you might have anything you want to ask. By the way, Bodie is here live with us on Sunday night. So if you have a question over at live.vognetwork.com, ask away, and I will relay some of those questions. But Irene?
Well, hi.
Hi.
Well, first I just want to say thank you because this game looks amazing and it's kind of pretty much an amalgamation of everything I've ever wanted in a game, and I'm happy that there's a female protagonist, and just I can say a lot of things about it. But I don't know that I really have a lot of like pressing questions or anything. Maybe just how are you enjoying being your own boss?
It's good. I don't think I would want it any other way right now. Like, I thought about maybe going back after I shipped the game to maybe work at a big studio, and I don't think I'd be as happy as I am right now, or at least satisfied with my work.
Sure. I'm not sure what... Oh, I'm sorry. Were you gonna say? Okay. I'm not sure what you had done at Bungie or Microsoft or anything. So is this more fulfilling for you, or is it more tedious than you thought it was going to be, or how is it in comparison?
I'd say working at Microsoft was considerably more tedious because I was doing a test. And also both jobs, I didn't really have much power. That was also kind of frustrating for me too. I'm obviously a creative person, and not being able to be creative in my work was very frustrating. And it probably is one of the main reasons why I ended up leaving, was because I wasn't able to be fulfilled in my, creatively fulfilled in my work. And now I can do that. I can imagine things and then make them, and that's my job. And that's pretty cool.
Very awesome, and I'm jealous.
Irene, I know you wanted to curb the love fest a little bit, but I'm like genuinely curious, as like a gaming fan, like, A, how did you find out about this? And B, like, what was it that just made you go like, yes?
Yes, mama.
Slay.
Well, I heard about it through Heartforth Alicia, which is, had another strong female protagonist, and it just, it's sending the same signals to me. It's got RPG elements, and, it's a magic-based system, and just, I don't know, obviously the whole 16-bit graphic thing is pretty cool. So
it's like, here is all of Irene's favorite games, and then we're gonna put it in a blender. And
yes, I mean literally like Final Fantasy Tactics, and just like, wow, okay, where do I pay my money? Take it all. So yeah, that's yeah.
I mean, technically the game is a blender of all my favorite games. Like, I'm just kind of regurgitating the story and my imagination onto the same canvas as those games.
Let me ask you I know we have another question here in studio. Sorry, Piper. I just thought of something, though, that I definitely want to ask, because this is a very tricky thing. I mean, you're an indie developer of games. I'm an indie commenter, of the games industry and so forth. And one thing that I'm always kind of worried about is, if I listen to too many other podcasts, and I do try to listen to a variety of podcasts to support my indie people, but I'm afraid I'm going to tell a joke that some other podcaster used, or I'm going to do something that was already done on another podcast. Are you worried about, and maybe how do you kind of make sure you don't cross that line where you're just like copying another game? Like, how do you kind of keep yourself in check in that regard, like between influence and copy?
That's actually kind of difficult. And in fact, it's something I kind of screwed up on the Kickstarter. On the very first day, people realized that some of my tile sets, like the environment art for a couple of the areas, was really similar to Symphony of the Night. And like, I addressed that on the first day. I'm like, yeah, I was learning how to do tile sets, and I wanted to learn from Castlevania. But when I was like kind of emulating that style, I didn't put any personal inspiration into it. And so people caught on to that. So it is something you really have to be careful with. That even though you're taking inspiration from something, you need to mix a part of your own imagination into it to make it different. But I think like for art, you have to be very careful. But for gameplay features, like for how it plays, like I think a lot of games kind of rely on just taking, like flat out taking elements from other games. Like games are like starting to take Dark Souls elements from it, and or just like all Metroidvanias, they're taking elements, and that's okay. Like that they're outright taking it,
Right.
As long as you add a little bit more to it, your own flair, and that's the most important part. I think is adding to someone else's stuff is what makes it okay.
Okay. Let me go over. We have a couple questions in chat, but I actually want to go over to Piper here in studio, who also has a question.
Hello.
Hi.
So I don't want to bulldoze the sentiment, I guess, but yeah, similar to everybody else, I'm in love with the project. I've been following it for some time as well. And it's a blender of basically everything that's, oh man, no words. I'm not a programmer or have anything to do with the video games other than playing them, but I'm a writer. And I was curious as to if you get inspiration from doing this for a secondary project, if you have your mind on anything in the future, or if this is taking all of your time.
I think every time I'm doing something creative, I always end up getting kind of tangent ideas that aren't with my current project. And I definitely have ideas for like future games, and it just kind of happens.
I just want to point out the tangent train is not exclusive to podcasts, therefore. So the tangent train is a very real thing, even in game development. So
right.
There you go. Great. That's a great question. Actually, let me dive into that a little bit, and then I'll get to these chat questions. But the writing, I mean, that's kind of something you have to do a little more originally. Where are you inspired with your writing specifically for like the story?
I'm going to be upfront. I'm really bad at like dialogue and actual like story words. So I'm actually bringing on someone to help me with that, and kind of make the story a little more fleshed out. But I really like world building, or at least the idea of like creating worlds, and here's their history, and here's what happened on this world, and the people on it, and how the people are different from people on other worlds. And the actual Timespinner universe takes place in a story that I've been kind of building since I was a kid, and like future games that I make will definitely still carry on in that same game universe. Story universe, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, Irene?
Oh, okay. Yeah, just to, I guess, follow up on that. I know that you, well, at least I read that you've conceived of this idea many years ago, like nearly 20 years ago, and that you have this whole universe that this world is sort of kind of a part of, like tangential to. So if, I guess this is kind of a premature question to ask right now, but if Timespinner, for some crazy reason, doesn't end up meeting the goals that you want it to, like if it's not your definition of successful, are you planning on continuing the story in the universe through maybe another venue? Like I know your thing is game design, but maybe you could collaborate with someone else to continue the universe on, or I mean, maybe that's, I don't know.
I feel like the story of like the story universe is really important to me, and like I would be sad if I had to drop it, even if I like Timespinner didn't do well. So yeah, I think I would still try to use that story somehow.
It's going to do amazing, but it's just a hypothetical.
I was going to say, Negative Nancy, he did amazing on the Kickstarter, so...
I just had to find a way to ask
fine.
that,
right.
okay?
Asking the tough questions, Barbara Walters over there. All right, going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. We got Dungeon Buster saying, it's great to hear about the streams. I've seen too many projects and good feelings wither on the vine because the devs fell out of updating their community. But you've done very good at, kind of keeping up with the forums and all this other stuff. So just kind of getting some props there in our chat room.
Thanks.
And Dar Tetsuya says, any games in particular that inspired you in making Timespinners? Well, I know we've talked an awful lot already about, like, Symphony of the Night and so forth, but maybe let me twist Dar Tetsuya's question a little bit here and ask you, is there maybe a game that people would be surprised to know? I mean, you can look at Timespinner and go, oh, okay, there's that Metroidvania vibe to it, but is there a game that people might be surprised to know actually influenced Timespinner?
I that's kind of an interesting question. There's a Castlevania game that, in particular, I'm taking really heavy influence from, called Order of Ecclesia.
Oh,
That was the best. Okay, that was the second best in that style.
Yeah. I absolutely love that game, and I cosplayed the main character and everything. But yeah, I was pretty upfront with the inspiration on the Kickstarter. Besides that, like, that's the only game I didn't really mention in the Kickstarter.
okay.
Like,
Well, okay.
Star Ocean. Like, I think that one might be a little weird for people because Star Ocean is like an RPG that's not really Metroidvania-esque. But I feel like I really liked the story of the first one, even though some people thought it was a mess. But I enjoyed it.
All right. Just a couple more questions here, and then we got to let Bodie get back to developing, you guys. But just a couple more questions here from our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. SHO100 Matt is asking, do you get burned out when you're working? If so, what tactics do you use to get back on track?
I do suffer a lot from burnout. The problem with me is that if I work on the same thing, for example, like if I'm doing a tile set for an area and I do it for like a week straight, then I get sick of it and I don't want to work on it anymore and I'm not inspired anymore. So what I do is I try to jump to a completely unrelated task. And since I do programming and art, that works out pretty well. So like my most recent burnout was on, just like I said, the tile set for like a city level I'm working on. So what I did was I went completely tangential to work on the inventory menu, and that like broke me out of the burnout. So yeah, just hopping between completely different fields helps me out. And I'm actually trying to take weekends off, seeing if that helps. Maybe it won't. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, you got to have a day off once in a while, and I think that's, despite the Kickstarter, and I know there's that pressure to deliver and so forth. If you don't have that mental wellness, then it's gonna affect things negatively. So give yourself some time off once in a while. ActDeft in chat. Speaking of that, let me ask this, and I'll wrap up after this question. But ActDeft says, how big is the pressure from being a Kickstarter backed project? And ActDeft also clarifies, like, I don't want to sound rude, and I don't think that's necessarily a rude question, but how is that kind of pressure from being a Kickstarter backed project?
It's definitely a lot more pressure than before the Kickstarter. Like before the Kickstarter, I kind of was just working on stuff that I knew I needed to do, but whenever I was inspired to do it, I would work on it. And then if I felt like this wasn't progressing very well, I'd just jump to something else. Now when I have like a release date, like that I've told people about, there's a lot of pressure and it's stressful. But I'm doing okay. I'm managing, and yeah, I think it's going to work out. And I think the fact that I'm being fairly upfront with people, especially with like the live streams and the forum, that even if I do slip, that it'll be okay. So I'm not freaking out too hard.
All right. Well, we're all rooting for you, and we know you've given yourself plenty of time to deliver a quality product, and it's looking like it's coming along really good so far. So we're all very hopeful here at OLR. Irene, want to close out here? One more question.
I do, and it's a really quick one. Top 3 favorite games ever. Go.
Final Fantasy Tactics, Castlevania Symphony of the Night,
All right.
and Castlevania Order of Ecclesia. Like, I've played those many times, and I'm going to play them many times in the future.
Let me ask you this, since we ask a lot of our I know I keep saying one more question. I lied. We ask a lot of our guests that come here on OLR, what have you been playing lately? Like, besides your own game, what have you been playing lately? Like any newer stuff? Or do you focus simply on retro stuff? Or is there anything kind of lately you've been playing?
Lately, it's been a mix of AAA and indie. So the last couple games have been, so I'm doing Destiny right now. But before that, it was like Dark Souls 2 and all of its never-ending DLCs. And then on the indie side, like I recently fell into Don't Starve. I had to like beat adventure mode so that I would stop playing it. So, because it's like, oh, I beat it now, I don't have to play it anymore. And also like Crypt of the Necrodancer, and I've been playing like the Chasm Alpha, which is pretty fun too. So it's a good mix of indie and AAA, I think.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. I know we've taken up almost a half hour of your time, but we really appreciate you coming on here, and we really want to wish you the best of luck with the game. This is really cool because most people come on here, when the Kickstarter's in progress, but you're funded. This game's going to happen, so this is really cool. And if people want to continue to check out the progress, they can head over to timespinnergame.com. Anything else you want to throw out there, Bodie, like Twitter, Facebook? I don't know if there's other places online you want people to follow you.
It's everywhere basically at lunarraygames.com. So it's like on Twitter, it's at lunarraygames, and Facebook is /that. Yeah, same on YouTube and Twitch. So that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Well, we wish you the best of luck with Timespinner, and I know I will be pre-ordering the game, and I think some of us here in OLR, you can thank Irene, probably sold like 5 copies of the game here in studio. So there you go. And
Yay.
I can tell you one thing. I was watching the trailer again today, and my husband walks past me and goes, "You're ordering this, right?"
I just bought it.
I was like,
nice.
Done.
You're welcome. I'm just kidding.
Well, there it is. Best of luck, and I hope we'll be able to check in with you again a little closer to the game's release and talk about the excitement of the big game release.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, keep us posted. Thanks again for your time tonight, Bodie, and best of luck with Timespinner.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, take care.
Have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye.
All right, that was again Bodie Lee with Lunar Ray Games. Timespinner. Early on in the interview, I accidentally said Timespinners because my fat finger typed an S, but it's Timespinner. So be sure to check that out. Timespinnergame.com. Fantastic to talk to him. That's great, and it's so interesting to kind of hear about the similarities between like what I do as an indie, broadcaster and what he's doing as, an indie developer, and how many like similarities. I like how he kind of talks about, sometimes I just have to, I have to get up and walk away, and I'm like, God, I've wanted to do that so many times during this show.
Me too. That's what I appreciate about him. He's rural,
Yeah.
He's keeping it rural.
He's keeping it real.
Yeah,
It's just he's the boss and all that stuff, and none of that corporate BS with these indie games. So
Yeah, I can die now, by the way. That was great. I'm so happy.
But you must live to play the game.
Yeah. But if I did die, I'd be like, can you just send a copy to actually be hell, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, I won't get into that.
You're taking it to a dark place here on OLR.
A little bit.
Just send that Care of the Lake of Fire. That'd be mine. All right. Anyway, thank you again for helping. Most people, I don't know if you know, but Princess Irene kind of really helped me get in touch and bring my attention to that whole thing. So appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for interviewing him.
You're welcome. All right. Let's get into some gaming news from the indie world to the AAA world to everything in between. Let's get into some gaming news tonight. And please, to our guests here in studio, please raise your hand, grab a mic. Feel free to comment on anything as we're going through tonight's news. Loki.
Well, I have news about an online game starting with D that's having server problems. No, it's not Destiny. It's actually Driveclub. Driveclub, unfortunately, has had some problems with servers not working or not working at all, or just, I don't know if anyone's actually been able to connect online and play with other people, but apparently it's really rough right now. And to kind of fix that, or at least work towards fixing that, they've started disabling features, I guess. So, unfortunately, some of the social features, I guess, have been disconnected, including challenges, updates, and I guess leaderboards and some of the other stuff like online multiplayer racing should be playable, although it's probably going to be a little bit tricky to get online. And of course, because of all these server problems, they halted the release of the PlayStation Plus version of Driveclub, so you won't be able to get that kind of piecemeal version of the game for Plus subscribers. But it'll be coming later on. They just haven't said yet when that's going to be. So that sucks. But
God, every time I'm hearing about this game, I swear to God, the news is something like this.
I think the social features, I'm not really sure if it's that important. I'm not sure if it's anything like, because when I think of Driveclub, I think of like Forza Horizon, and I don't know if it's just obviously, I don't think it's open world, so you're not racing with each other. But I don't know. It seems like the game was delayed because of social and online features before, and now it's being delayed sort of again. It seems like when it was released, it still wasn't quite ready yet. I don't know. It's kind of disappointing.
Do you think this game is hosed now because of all these problems? Because I kind of think Sony has this really amazing way of being able to like make people forget about fuck ups. Like, remember the whole credit card breach, and they were like, "Oh, nobody actually had money stolen. Here's some free games. We'll just forget that ever happened."
I don't think that it's hosed. I mean, it's only been a few days since the game came out. I hope it gets better quicker than, say, like Battlefield 4. I mean, so I just hope that they fix the problem quickly, because that kind of sucks, since it is a comparable racing title to like Forza Horizon, and I don't know, Horizon just sounds more exciting to me. Why can't Forza Horizon be on the PlayStation 4? That'd be a perfect world. But no, it's just not...
ActDeft in chat says Forza Horizon 2 wins this round, I think, so far.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, and there's things about that too, but I don't know. It's a little disappointing, because if I was going to get PlayStation 4, this would have been kind of one of the games I wanted to get, but it's not quite Forza Horizon or even like a Gran Turismo. But there will be other racing games coming out. I mean, there's plenty of other racing games. Like The Crew, I guess, is quite open world, so hopefully that's a little bit better. And then also, was it not Driveclub, but Project Cars is going to be coming out later in about a month or so. So. There's options.
I sort of think, too, because there's that PlayStation Plus angle with this game, where they're going to give a significant portion of it, or a very meaty demo or whatever, away for free. And I use my quotey fingers because, you have to have a PlayStation Plus account. But I think a lot of people that own Sony products now have one, because you have to have it to play online now.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to play Driveclub, you probably want to have that.
Exactly, right? So I kind of think, and, there's a lot of people like, oh, this game failed. I'm not going to play this game now. And I'm like, yeah, you are. If you have a PlayStation Plus account and they come out and it's free, you're going to download it.
Just like Destiny or Diablo 3 or Battlefield 4, people are still playing it, even though it's just... How long did it take them to fix that shit? I mean, a long time. So, I don't know. It's just... It might be one of those games that, like, I don't need to get right away. Maybe wait for it to come down in price a little bit. Or, hey, you know what? If you're really kind of... Well, I don't know what the performance is going to be on this... You're probably going to have PlayStation Plus already. Just wait for the demo to come out. Check it out. If it's something that you want, buy it. If it's not, enjoy what free part of it you got.
There you go. I think for me, like, I just want to get in there and like control it to know, like, is this something that I can actually play, like Forza, Burnout, or Mario Kart, a little more arcade style, or is this going to be like, Gran Turismo, where I'm just consistently crashing into the wall?
Well, that's the thing, is it's by the guys that did MotorStorm, and I loved like MotorStorm Apocalypse, which was a game that no one really cared for. But
that was the one that came with the 3D TV, wasn't it?
They had one, that came with that, but no, it was a great game. I mean, it was one of those games that I bought a review copy or something like that. It came out right before the whole network thing went down for a few weeks, and that was when they delayed the release of that. So I got to play it for like a month before it came out. It was fantastic. I love that game, and I even like the other MotorStorm games, even though they're a little bit frustrating and whatever. But I'm curious to see how this game is, different, because obviously it's a different, it's not an off-road racing game. It's I don't know.
Now, I see Jayveemon in our chat room over there inciting some Forza chat there throughout all this. So wait a minute, Jayveemon, what's going on here? So are you poo-pooing Driveclub and you're just like, who cares?
I honestly had no idea it came out. It's been pushed back for so long, and when the story came out, I was like, oh, it finally released.
Well, sorta.
Well, there wasn't much.
It either did or it didn't.
There wasn't much fanfare about it. That's the thing.
It's like one of the it's like that furniture they bought at IKEA and then they built it backwards accidentally. Like after all this time, that's what happened.
There's probably still a piece or two missing.
Exactly. Like, why do I have screws left over?
It's a hack. It's a hack.
IKEA hack.
But that's the thing, is like, seriously, when you look at major Sony titles coming out for like the fourth quarter, they don't have a whole ton. It's Driveclub and Little Big Planet 3.
And wasn't Driveclub supposed to be like this big super launch title for the PS4, and it's a year later?
Yeah,
and
at
it
one
sort of just
point.
limps out of the gate with problems.
It was kind of lowered expectations. But I mean, I don't just because this game has all these problems right now. I mean, let's be real. If the game kicks ass in a couple weeks, everybody will forget.
Oh, I'm totally gonna play it.
2 words: Diablo 3. Anything can be fixed in gaming now. Like seriously, that's always going to be. No matter how fucked up a game is, I'm going to be like, remember Diablo 3? Y'all remember? That game was a hot fucking mess, and now look at it.
Or this is very familiar to me. Like remember Lair? Remember how that was supposed to be a fucking kick-ass launch title, and it got delayed. And
was that the one with the flying dragons?
Oh,
and the
yes.
6-axis?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Boy, oh boy. All right, Brad from Pod Culture talking about racing games in our chat room saying a Blur for the PlayStation 4 would be great. Yes, it would. Boy, that really sucks that somebody had to close that studio. Fucking jerk.
I would buy somebody a second PlayStation 4 just so I can have somebody play a PS4 version of Blur.
Right? I guess I can kind of cross my fingers and toes that maybe somehow this whole like Sierra. I mean, Sierra's doing the Geometry Wars now. So
Yeah,
maybe
because that was Bizarre Creations, right?
Now I know Criterion's working on some other sort of extreme sports game that's not Burnout, but God, I would love a new Burnout.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice. All right, let's move on. Now, remember how I talked about, hey, Sony has a way of making you kind of like come around and worship at the altar of Sony, right? Well, sure enough, they did a big one this week. Remember when Vib Ribbon showed up at E3 and we were all like, yes, Vib Ribbon. Oh, my God, they're going to announce a new Vib Ribbon. And then they didn't. And everybody was like, stop fucking being a tease, yo. So they ended up actually what happened this past week, Sony kind of, like, I don't want to say they apologized, but they did kind of come out and say, when we were talking about it at E3, we knew it was out in Europe and Japan. We kind of forgot that it wasn't out in North America. So you know what? It's out now on PlayStation 3 and PS Vita. So if you want to play Vib Ribbon, you can go get it right now on PlayStation 3. And so it came out this week. Not on PS4. Because the reason is because remember, Vib Ribbon is a PlayStation 1 game, and it has all the you can actually eject. It's a download game, so there would be no disc in your PS3 drive unless you still have another game in there. But you can actually put a CD in the PlayStation 3 drive, and it will do that whole custom soundtrack like it did before. Can't do that on the Vita though.
I will admit that we partly bought our JPS2 so I could play Vib Ribbon without having to hold the thing down and do the other thing.
Paperclip and all that.
Yeah, on my PS1.
I'm kind of poor, so are they gonna release it for the Commodore 64 anytime soon?
Probably not. I don't think the Sony game will be on the 3DS anytime soon. So I don't, unfortunately. But it is to finish answering the question why it's not on PlayStation 4. It's a PlayStation 1 game essentially being emulated, and keep in mind PlayStation 4 isn't playing emulated games at all right now. PlayStation 4 does have PlayStation Now, which someday will have the PS2 and the PS1 games in it too, but it's not there yet.
There's also the rumor that eventually it's going to have native PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 support, but
that'd be tricky.
We'll see.
That'd be tricky. Maybe PlayStation 1, because somebody could probably build a pretty kick-ass emulator. But I don't know, 2 and 3 would get pretty difficult. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, a Vita can play PlayStation 1 games, and a PlayStation 4 should be able to play PlayStation 1 games.
It really should. It really should. Bonds006 in our chat room saying, so is Vib Ribbon better than Audio Surf? They're both pretty good. Audio Surf's only on PC, though, and Vib Ribbon's not. So
speaking of which, if you're on a budget, there's a PlayStation TV coming out in like a week, and you can play Vib Ribbon on that.
A PlayStation TV?
Yeah, it's a Vita without a screen. You plug into your TV for $99.
$99? Do you know how many things on the McDonald's dollar menu you can buy with $99?
99?
That's how many.
Tax.
Ooh, girl.
99 in Oregon. Oh, all right. All right. So, you can check out Vib Ribbon. Now, I will admit, I didn't get around to downloading it, but I'm going to because I'm very excited about it. But it's like, I got to go back and turn the PS3 on. I've been doing nothing but Pix the Cat on my PlayStation 4. Come on. All right.
Thankfully, my PS3 is hooked up. So I am definitely going to be getting Vib Ribbon as soon as I get a day off.
To be fair, back in the day, you were doing Pix the Cat on your 3DS as well.
You mean pics of the cat on my 3. I see what you did there. That was a little bit of a highbrow
Womp
joke.
womp.
Boy, you are just comedy fucking gold tonight. All right, let's move on.
Well, how
I feel
about
like there needs to be a 2-drink minimum to listen to this show, Logie.
I'm already on my second drink.
I could have some more coffee. That'd be great.
Did you hear
Thanks,
about the
Rob.
Red Bull settlement, by the way, Loki?
Free Red Bull?
Yeah, it's like $15 because apparently Red
It's
Bull
10.
It's $10 or $15 in Red Bull product. You know which one Loki's opting for.
I'd just rather have the $10 and then go buy like a Monster.
Because they came out and said, you know, hey, we mismarketed Red Bull and it might be unhealthy for you. And Loki's like, yay, more.
Wait. Did Red Bull decide this on their own, or did people sue them for it?
It's a settlement.
It's a settlement because it doesn't actually turn you into some sort of Pegasus or something, you know. So unfortunately,
you don't grow a tail from breaking Red.
You're not the one-winged angel.
I wonder
anymore,
if I could then do the same thing about Rockstar putting my husband in the hospital.
Oh, that's probably already happened.
Probably.
So yeah.
I'll just have to tell him to look for a class action, and we can get it on that.
Well, a lot of
There you
rock
go.
stars end up in the hospital, so yeah.
And then we'll probably just use it to buy coffee.
Loki, do we know what
So-
this means for the Flugtag? Is that shut down?
I don't think so. I think they're still going crazy with all sorts of extreme sports things in the name of Red
Flying
Bull.
machines.
Four Locos okay though, right?
Oh, that's been banned for a while now.
Becky and I were actually having conversations like if our legal system actually used the common sense rule, how many of these class action lawsuits would never go through, and how much smarter our population would probably be.
Think about the lawyers. They need
I
jobs
try
too.
not to. I get nauseous.
All right, next story.
So anyway, we had mentioned the PS Vita before. There is going to be something very special coming out for Vita, and that's Minecraft. Yay! Basically, it's going to be on PSN a day before it is in Europe. And it's also basically anybody who has a copy of it on PS3 will get the Vita copy for free. And that's also people who own physical as well as PSN versions. And it's supposed to be out on November 11th. It's a cross offer. So basically, you buy one, you get the other. You can upgrade the PS4 one for $5 more. And you can do transfers between PS3 and Vita, as well as your DLC. So, hooray, Minecraft people.
God, it would be even more awesome if it was, you could play with people on the PlayStation 3 on the Vita.
Yeah, or even 3 and 4 would be kind of nice.
Or any of them, yes.
Yeah. I have Minecraft on the PlayStation 4, but that's,
Well, I understand why you wouldn't be able to with the PlayStation 4 because the worlds are bigger, so that'd be kind of like, hi, I'm
True.
outside the world. Haha, you can't come with me. No, but PlayStation 3 and the Vita one, I think, are pretty much the same. And, God, I almost want a PlayStation TV for that. But that would be such a waste of money because I have a PlayStation 3, but...
You're right. That would actually be a waste of money. Like, what is the goal of getting Minecraft on the PlayStation TV? To play Minecraft on your TV? Wait, you can do that already.
I don't know. And I wouldn't even want to do that because, I have it on PC.
Exactly, and you can mod it on PC.
Are people still playing Minecraft?
Oh, yes.
Like nobody's
yeah.
tired of it?
Oh yeah, go on to the PlayStation Live or go on to Twitch, and there's still tons of people streaming Minecraft.
Well,
I mean,
apparently Microsoft thinks so. I mean,
you did hear Microsoft paid like $2 billion.
Yeah, and I'm confounded by all
I was
of this.
walking through the toy aisle at Target the other day, and there was a freaking foam Minecraft pickaxe that I can.
they
hit
have
people
new
with.
Lego sets too.
Oh my!
I want those Lego sets.
It's a
There's
way of
tons
life.
of stuff. You
and
can
the movie.
Like Kmart had a bin of the I was there buying toilet paper, but they had because the toilet paper is the only thing there that's not out of style. But they had a little bin of Minecraft plushies too, like the animals.
As long as there are 10-year-olds alive, Minecraft will be relevant.
Yeah, I mean, remember, it is still really huge in the family-friendly market, so to speak. So, Zenthral in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com says, do people still play Minecraft? Does a bear shit in the woods? There you go. Wow, I guess you just got told there.
A bear shits wherever it needs to shit.
A bear...
If a bear wants to shit on the hood of your car, that's where a bear will shit.
And maybe the animals in Minecraft will soon shit. We'll see.
Who got told now? Ooh,
You could probably arrange
bears
that
can
through
shit
modding.
anywhere.
Well, before too long, you're going to be able to Minecraft on anything too. So,
They're gonna Minecraft on it.
All right, let's travel around the world.
done.
Let's
I'm done.
travel around the world. You can't even. Are you unable to?
This one can't.
Can this only be fixed with a pumpkin spice latte at this point?
You could go make me coffee again.
Let's travel around the world first and check out some release date. Listen to her. Go get me coffee, Rob.
Wow, that's very demanding.
I'm a great guest. No, I was kidding, Rob. I don't want any more of your coffee.
Okay. Well, I want some release dates. Let's get to it.
All right, let's get to it. I'm extremely excited because this week we have Borderlands, a pre-sequel, coming out on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. Sorry, people that have those newer systems. You don't get to play Borderlands yet until they release the inevitable, HDR version of the Borderlands trilogy. So expect that probably in 2015 because that seems to be the trend. Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures 2 on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Wii U, 3DS, and that's it. God, why? Duck Dynasty for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, 3DS, and Wii U.
Rednecks play games too, remember.
As long as people are buying that big game hunter and all that stuff, I'm sure there's a...
Somebody does.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's classier, Cabela's or Duck Dynasty?
Cabela's, actually.
Yes.
Now that we all agree.
Wow. That was a weird fucking conversation. All right.
Let's see. The Evil Within, coming on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Sleeping Dogs, the definitive edition on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Oh my gosh.
The Walking Dead Complete First Season on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Walking Dead Season 2 on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Pop Tropica Forgotten Islands on 3DS. Ooh, Pets games. Pets Countryside and Pets Beach on 3DS. I think this was delayed, but Senran Kagura Shinobi Versus Limited, the Let's Get Physical edition, if I remember correctly.
The Olivia Newton-John.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's get physical.
It's on
So
on
weird.
Vita. Let's see what else here. Oh, Tears to Terra 2, Era of the Overlord on PlayStation 3. And they're doing, I guess, a re-release of Need for Speed Rivals, the complete edition, on PlayStation 4 and Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 and Xbox One. Oh, gosh. There's a lot of stuff. And
Well,
that's
we're
it.
getting into that holiday season.
That is it.
All right, that's it. Well, traveling over to Japan, very different story. There's a lot of releases on the 23rd, but for this week, the 16th, only the Vita is seeing releases right now because the Vita, it's kind of a different story over in Japan. There's lots and lots of releases in Japan for the Vita, and this week, no exception. Your releases this week on the PlayStation Vita: Dramatical Murder Recode in regular and limited edition. Dramatical Murder.
I like that.
I know, I like
a
that.
wonderful word.
Let's see. Chaos Rings 3 prequel trilogy comes out from Square Enix on the Vita this week. And lastly, Amnesia World Later Cross Crowd V Edition. There it is.
It's like they threw
that
random words
it?
together.
I know, it really is.
Pork
Amnesia.
chop cactus hairline.
What, what is Amnesia World? I forgot.
Ha 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 ha. Ha ha.
Boom.
Ba-dum-bum.
Where's that trombone?
We'll just have to flush that one down the toilet. Anyway, all right.
Real time sound.
I have the fail ones bookmarked just for this program.
What a time to be alive.
I wasn't gonna break the fourth wall and be like, Irene, get away from that toilet.
You'll notice I don't have the win ones bookmarked, just the lose ones.
There's a reason.
There's a reason. Hey, let's go to Europe
Sure, let's go right now. Bye.
right now.
I'm actually going to do the next 2 weeks just because we won't be here.
Whoa. Hold on. Breaking news. Super important. Very important. Loco Poco in chat. Dramatical Murder is a BL/Yaoi game, Sky.
Oh.
Whoa. Well, this Dramatical Murder just got a lot hotter.
Yeah.
All right.
BRB going to get dramatical
Is
murder.
it sexy murder? What is this? I want to know.
Does
now
it
I wanna
involve
know more
corn
about
cobs?
this.
Murder Dramatica.
Irene, what did you say over there?
Said gonna murder that ass. And that's it.
This is the murder he wrote.
Murder that ass. You're the one that just ate McDonald's.
Hey, how about Europe?
Oh, yeah, Europe.
Stop
Hey.
following me to the bathroom, you guys.
On
I forgot to take the microphone with you.
On the 14th of October, we have Peggle 2 for PS4, The Evil Within for a bunch of stuff. On the 15th, we have Vib Ribbon in the UK for Vita and PS3. On October 17th, Borderlands the pre-sequel, which is super fun, and I suggest everybody get it because it's awesome. F1 2014 on PC, PS3, and Xbox 360. On the 21st, Dreamfall Chapters Book 1, and then the Dreamfall Chapters, The Longest Journey. On the 22nd, Chromia. The 23rd, Stealth Inc. 2. 24th, Bayonetta 2, both for Wii U. Just Dance 2015, which I know you're all excited about. Shadow Warrior and Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth.
Back to Bayonetta real quick. Those are bundled together, correct? The first one comes with... Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some type
They
of
had
like...
that is listed separate listings in the UK, so.
Yeah. Just so you know, by the way, Irene, your little quote has our chat room up in arms there. And Dark Tetsuya says, yeah, I can't even right now. Congratulations. Our chatters cannot even. The listeners are unable to. They cannot.
You're welcome.
All right. Pumpkin spice for all.
Rob.
All right.
Rob.
Yes.
Rob.
What?
Rob.
What?
Rob.
What?
Coffee.
How about we do a
I
couple
found
more...
the ferret the other day.
How about we do... Oh, Lord. I thought we'd burn that thing. All right.
Midna found the ferret.
Of course.
There was like 4 or 5 of them. They've got to
we
be around.
actually-
The original one's at my house.
Oh, that's
some
right,
of them
did
we
give
gave to
them away.
listeners too, like very special, like super fans. So anyway,
They're expensive to buy nowadays.
yeah, they are. They are.
Fifth Dream is a person after my own heart who is streaming Hot to Full Boyfriend, which I still do every Tuesday between 5 and 6.
Did you see now? There's a Kickstarter for a bear dating sim, and I'm not talking
No.
about like
No.
what you'd see at the Bolt on
No.
Saturday, but I'm talking about.
No.
I got so much
It
less
doesn't
excited.
get any better than dating pigeons.
If somebody wants to make a game where you date bears.
Well,
So-
good for them. I'm going to keep playing the pigeons.
All right.
Can they shit anywhere? In
You
the
know
sim.
what? I'll try to get them on the show, and we'll ask. Why don't we?
Thank you.
All right. Barbara Walters over there asking the hard questions. Just a couple more. In your game, can the bears shit wherever they want?
Do the bears have a choice of defecation location?
Is the shit high res or is it in pixels?
All right, a couple more stories for you guys, and then
That's it. I want to make a game called Pixel Shit.
the classic
Pixel shits.
help. The show is losing control. Help! Help! Just
New
a couple-
OLR dream game, Pixel Shit.
I can't even right now. A couple more stories, and then the classic game of the week. Loki, help!
For some reason, when I hear it was a defecation location, it makes me think of, was it Conjunction Junction or something? I don't remember. Yeah. That should be a Schoolhouse Rock song. Anyways, so apparently Unity may or may not be up for sale. It's kind of confusing. You know, some thoughts are, yeah, they're looking for someone to buy them. It may be Google. Google might be offering them money. No one seems to know, but it's possible that they may sell out. I really wish this was a little bit more, I don't know, firm. As you know, I think everyone's kind of on the lookout of companies, acquiring other companies right now, especially since we've just had, a few major ones with, Twitch and, Mojang, Oculus. So I've been hearing the whole, Google might be buying Unity for a while now, but we'll see. I guess you'll just have to wait for the actual Unity was purchased by Google.
Apparently, Google wants to buy something.
They always want to buy something. It would. I mean, if
Hey,
they're-
Google, want to buy an online network
I mean,
with some podcasts?
if they wanted, if they're looking to seriously get into, I don't even really have to I don't know what the point would be in buying them. I mean, other than locking it down, I mean, more funding maybe. That'd be kind of cool. I'm just worried that's going to go, the route of one of these other companies. I know one of the ones I saw in a lot of these articles citing Renderware and stuff. The EA bought them and kind of shut them down. So I don't know, but I like Unity. Hopefully that if someone does buy them, they kind of leave them alone, just give them money. Because that'd be nice.
Leave me alone and give me money. That's a good company.
That sounds like
there.
my marriage. No.
All right.
Well, I mean, it definitely since you can export to Android and stuff, I think that would be it's obviously something that pleases Google since you can have a lot more content on there. And thank God that they're sane and don't require you to own an Apple to fucking publish to iOS. Thank you, Apple. So, yeah.
All right. Let's move on and talk about a game that I'm sure is going to be sucking down a lot of money because it has the name Final Fantasy in it. So with that reason, people are going to be like, here's my money. This is Final Fantasy Explorers, which is coming out soon in Japan. And this is, Irene, might be up your alley. I don't know, because it is a 3DS game. Actually, this might be more a Piper's thing if he's a big Theatrhythm fan. I don't know. Final Fantasy Explorers, you heard much about this? Either one of you?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right, Final Fantasy Explorers is kind of like Final Fantasy meets Monster Hunter. It's kind of what this is all about. Because Monster Hunter is like huge over in Japan, right? So they're making this game, and it is coming out in Japan pretty soon. But Final Fantasy Explorers going to have some things that you don't typically see in 3DS titles. For one of them, it's not going to have full 3D. That's right. You're going to have a 3DS game with no 3D. Well, I guess...
You can finally play a game on your 2DS.
Essentially, yes. Well, now, to be fair, I was kind of thinking, I was like, have there been other games that have done this? And actually, yes, Pokemon X and Y had this too, where only the battles were in 3D, I think, and then all the overworld stuff was in 2D. But let's be real. You want to talk about a game that was for the 2DS. That was just a Pokemon system was what that thing was, right? So, yeah, Final Fantasy Explorers not going to feature 3D throughout the whole game. However, it will feature support for, you ready for this? The Circle Pad Pro. Did anybody pick one of those up when Kid Icarus was all the rage?
No.
Anybody? Yeah. So, but if you happen to have one, Final Fantasy Explorers will support that. It should also be noted that the new 3DS and the features that are available on that system will also be supported by Final Fantasy Explorers. So, because the new 3DS will have that extra stick, so that can control the camera, and the extra shoulder buttons will control the lock-on feature. It should also be noted that the new 3DS still hasn't been confirmed for America. So...
But they like to wait to the last minute when announcing dates for things.
They kind of do, don't they?
I would not be surprised if we have that. I mean, considering it's coming out in other places around the world this year, I would not be surprised if we get it this year.
You still think the new 3DS is a possibility for this year?
I think it may be December.
I'm going to guess that we'll get it before the end of the fiscal year.
I think we'll get it around the time that the next Pokemon game comes out, which is the end of November.
Okay.
Because...
But again...
What sells systems? Pokemon.
Pokemon could sell a lot of 2DSs too, It's
Well, that's a win-win still. I mean...
That's true.
Because that's even more of a win for them because guess what? You bought a 2DS. And now if you really want to get, the best bang for your buck to play the newest Pokemon game that'll come out in a year or so, you're going to need the new 2DS. Or the new 3DS. Or the new 3DS.
I really hope that they decide to maybe give it another name when it comes out here. I don't know. It's still
they
weird.
won't.
All right, whatever. All right, well, let's travel back in time to a time when games, they weren't in 3D. You didn't have 3D games. Well, maybe you had Rad Racer. You did have that. But it's time to visit gaming's archive and step into Jamie's vault before she puts the whole thing in a box.
Bunch of boxes.
And find one game notable of being the classic game of the week. And I noticed, Dark Soccer, your Capcom comes to an end this week.
I said that last week.
Oh, I forgot.
Because I have to put a little bit more gap before I jump to CPS1.
All right. So we're visiting something else this week, Dark Soccer. What is the classic game of the week?
Get Bass! Also known as Sega Bass Fishing. I picked it. Basically, this was an arcade fishing game. It came out in 1997 for the Sega Model 3, and it has been since ported to the Dreamcast. It's on Windows, Xbox 360, PS3, and the Wii. And this game was notable for coming with a special controller that you used as a fishing rod. I will be talking more about that later because it was awesome. So basically, you just fish. That's all you do. You have to hook and reel in fish. You use different kinds of lures. there's different stages of fishing, so you can actually get different kinds of fish based on what time you fish. It's a big fishing sim. And the thing is, I don't know how Sega did it, but they made it fun and not completely boring like real fishing. Especially when you would catch the fish and it would say, "Fish get!" Well, on the Japanese version, anyway. And then the person would go, "Fish!" So it was just such full of rather cornball stuff just from that era of Sega games. Because you know what also else came out like soon after that was like Brave Firefighters and Jumbo Safari was out and all of those kind of weird games. But I don't even know why this game was so fun, but I don't really know many people who don't like this game. It even had a sequel, which was Sega Bass Fishing Duel, which came out on PS2. It was a multiplayer. And then there was a Rails crossover that was called Sega Bass Fishing of the Dead. It was reported in 2012, but it was an April Fool's joke. I would have absolutely bought it, though. And then, of course, we also, after that, had Sega Marine Fishing. Now, this is why I picked this game. This is the game that gave us the fishing rod controller. This is the game that created Rod Caliber. I don't know if I've probably told everybody what Rod Caliber is. I'll say it again.
About 1,000 times on this show.
Hey.
Who is Rod Caliber?
This is playing Soul Calibur on Dreamcast with the fishing rod.
My goodness.
You can swing the thing around like you're sword fighting and actually beat the game with the fishing controller.
Can you nunchuck it? Can you be Maxi?
I did beat it with Maxi, the first person I played with. And then I also did beat it with Sofatia. And actually, Valdo is remarkably good with the rod controller. And all you do is swing it around like you're flailing to death. And that's Rod Caliber.
The analog of button mashing.
Yes. I tried doing DDR Caliber once. That didn't work. However, that's how I learned that my Dreamcast dance pads, that my corner buttons were analog.
Oh.
Fish. Sorry, I just
Fish! I wanted that as my text tone for the longest time.
Would it have been wrong if in this game you could catch Echo the dolphin?
Or what's that seaman-looking guy?
That's for Sega
Seaman.
poaching fishing. That's for Sega deep sea poaching.
Are we sure this isn't base fishing?
It's actually funny. When I started, I looked up Get Bass first, and it actually was like nothing but bass playing videos. So I was like,
Oh.
So then I had to put Sega Get Bass, and then that's when I found it.
Get bass, and it's all Geddy Lee and Les
Bootsy.
Claypool or
And Bootsy and
Bootsy. I ain't Bootsy.
No, I found like two of the first videos out there were like Bootsy Collins, so it was pretty cool.
It's because Parliament
Yeah.
rules overall.
Yes.
I think I'm looking at this, and I think I still prefer Ocarina of Time. I would rather play that than this.
Well, you know, we've been doing Classic Game of the Week since episode number 250. So there's been about 300 classic games. Pretty sure Ocarina of Time's been done. So we're starting to, dig a little deeper. These are the deep cuts. These are the deep cuts.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, but
Skip to track 4.
as much as I've talked about Rod Caliber, I had to bring up the origins of Rod Caliber. And this game is actually super fun if you're
still
really
see-
drunk.
I still see shit like this in the arcade all the time. And fish.
Rod Caliber is also an awesome porn star name.
I was gonna say it sounds like a detective, like somebody you'd find on Matlock, calling Rod Caliber.
What kind of Matlock are you watching? That's on the channels where you have to watch through the.
That's
It's
it.
a third-party version
When
of the
we
show.
make pixel shit, it'll be starring Rod Caliber.
Is your
TV Land After Dark.
Is your PSP modded to play Rod Caliber?
Of course. I'm gonna get Bodie to
Hey.
make Rod Caliber the game. Very similar to Ace Attorney.
If you don't play, Rod Caliber plays you.
All right, there it is, your classic game of the week, Sega Bass Fishing.
Or base fishing.
Fish. All right, with that
Fish
super bass.
get.
Now I hear Nicki Minaj in my head. Look at what you did.
I'm sorry.
Super base.
Thank you. All right.
Hey, but she's a great feminist icon.
Yeah, look at that booty.
Well, you
Hey.
know what? My anaconda don't. All right, forget it. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, who knows what song I'll burst into next. We got some rapid fire news as well. The Fugle question of the week, mailbag, FUs of the week, your calls, and so much more with our live studio audience here as we get into more of Orange Lounge Radio right after this quick break. Don't go anywhere, guys. Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Lounge Radio, live with the 571st episode of our show for this October the 12th, 2014, already in progress. We've had such a busy show so far tonight. We're joined by our dear old friend of Orange Lounge Radio. I'm not actually calling you old, Princess Irene, but, the show is pretty old. But from the Multitap Podcast now. And when do you guys put out new episodes? Like, when do you tape your shows and when do they go out?
I'm going to give that to Piper.
Ryan Piper's here. Piper's here from the same show, so fine.
Editor. We usually record Sundays. We're never live, though. That's not interactive. So I think we try to put out Mondays.
All right, cool. A lot of shows do Sundays. So, yeah, I know a lot of people. Yeah. There's a lot of people that I know that do their shows that are like, we'd listen to OLR, but we're taping then. So I know how it goes.
As long as you put out.
That's fine. That's why we have the podcast, so people can listen in all sorts of different ways. So there you go.
So the marriage doesn't die.
And, of course, Jayveemon from New York City, all the way to the other coast, joining us here as well. When's your show put out? Once a month? When do we do?
Every month or two. It's on iTunes, just Super Euro Power Hour.
All right. So you're not going to tell us when the next episode's coming out? Just hurry up and wait?
I'm trying to get one out this week. Well, I'm trying to get one out this week because a friend of mine who's an indie Eurobeat producer lives in San Jose, so it's just a quick drive. And for Super Eurobeat, he's known as Ken Blast, but if you're a My Little Pony fan and a Eurobeat fan, he goes by Eurobeat Brony. And
okay.
So if you type in like Eurobeat and the letter B, that's like the first thing you get on YouTube.
All right.
Hey, he gets like 2 million plus views on each video.
Nice.
So
Can we get a shout out?
He's doing something well.
Yeah, that works. So hey, since we had such a busy beginning of the show, and if you didn't hear the first half, if you're just joining us now live on this Sunday evening, definitely check out the podcast at some point. We had a great interview with Bodie Lee from Lunar Games talking about Timespinner earlier on in the show. That was awesome. In fact, it was so busy, I forgot housekeeping and a very important note, and I mentioned this in a previous week, so just make sure you guys know, we will not be here next week. There will be no live OLR next week. I might try to throw together like a best of or something for the podcast, but I really can't promise that. It just depends on how much time I have during the week. So sadly, I know a lot of you guys rely on OLR to get through your Monday and so forth. I'm very sorry we won't be here. I will actually be in Las Vegas. I'm going to Final Fantasy Fan Fest this weekend, which is celebrating Final Fantasy XIV, which, as you know, is the MMO I kind of got addicted to ever since I left World of Warcraft.
Are you cosplaying?
No, probably not, because I don't have time to throw something together. But
I can loan you my Homestuck cosplay.
I kind of
would
want to. Why would I dress in Homestuck?
I'm sure you'd make a great
Final
Jane.
Fantasy. Here's the thing: I want to do Hildebrand. Which if you play Final Fantasy 14 is a hilarious character. He's kind of he's all the like funny quests. But then I'm thinking like half the dudes will be cosplaying Hildebrand.
So you'd be his dad.
Wait, at first I thought you were making an age joke, but then I was like, actually, Hildebrand's dad is in one of the quest line. He's even like twice the awesome. He doesn't wear pants either, so
I have to tell you
around
that
Vegas with no pants on. I'm sure that
you just wear the black hot pants.
Yeah,
I have to tell you that the Hildebrand quests annoy me.
Well, why is that?
I don't think they're funny.
Really?
I stupid does not equate
they're
funny to
stupid
me.
Funny to me, like it's like Dumb and Dumber. Like it's stupid.
Yeah,
funny.
and I will never. I tried to sit through one of those and left the theater when someone else paid.
Sequel's coming out. You want to go see it?
No.
Yes.
I feel bile rising up in my throat at the preview.
I love Jim Carrey. I will see anything Jim Carrey is in, and that's why I'm so mad that Kick-Ass 2 is still not on Netflix. I was forced to watch The Explorers, and I really wish I hadn't.
I was going to tell you, I've had this idea for a long time of doing Final Fantasy XIV cosplay, but doing like low-level craft cosplay. As in just wearing like the stuff that, because people do the real big elaborate ones, but you never have people just being the everyday people.
I really like the way the Gridania guards look. I think if I was going to cosplay something, I really like with their masks and their armor and everything.
You should do that.
Yeah, but
be an NPC.
Okay, can I throw it together in 4 days before I leave?
I was just trying to say, all green clothing and bad posture. Cactuar.
I want to.
There you go.
I want to
just get a green Snuggie, and then sew it up in the back. You could do that. That wouldn't be too hard.
Oh my god, laziest cosplay ever.
Cactuar?
Well,
Cactuar wouldn't be that bad.
I'm not going alone. I'm going with Shane. What do you think you can convince him to cosplay as?
A chocobo. Put a feather on his head. And
If he's out there listening, he's going to be like,
Just carry a
No.
lantern around. You could be a lazy toneberry.
lazy Tomberry. Yeah, there you go. Love
that
it.
actually, though, you know what? I could probably do a Tonberry head in a night.
All right, we'll see. I don't know.
We'll talk about it.
We'll see what kind of mood.
Unfortunately, if
Peer
you want to
pressure.
get into the wherever you're going, you kind of have to walk back and forth very slowly. It's going to take you a while to get to where you're going.
I'll be Tonberry on Red Bull. All right. Anyhow, so we will be not here next week, but what a great time for you to sample other indie podcasts, because there's lots of hardworking indie podcasters out there creating great content. So our friends at Multitap, this is your week.
You could listen to us.
That's right. Listen to you guys. There you go. You going to get them through 3 hours? How long's your show?
Depending, we've done 2-parters, so those end up close to 4
They
hours.
listen to 2 episodes.
Two
There you go.
episodes, and we release them in part the first and part the second. They're
Awesome.
right next to each other.
Sounds like a plan. So, so we won't be here next week, but I will be back with all the details from Final Fantasy Fan Fest. I'll try and get an interview. If I can get my butt up there and interview the developers, that would be fantastic. We'll see what happens. So there you go. That is why we will not be here next week. But we are here this week, so we're trying to continue putting on a kick butt show for you guys. So let's get to it. Some rapid fire news. Loki.
So I just don't understand Nintendo sometimes, or actually most of the times. But apparently, and I'm thinking that this is a little bit sensationalized, but apparently the GameCube adapter that they're putting out for Super Smash Bros. On Wii U only works with Super Smash Bros. On Wii U. It will not work with existing Wii and Virtual Console games. Also, it's not going to, I guess... I don't know if it's going to allow you to use in place of like the classic controller or something. I guess that was the thought, but now it's not. It's only going to be used for Smash Brothers. But I think it's only going to be used for Smash Brothers right now. I think later on they could come out with things that support it, but I don't think they're going to release it only for Smash Brothers and say, well, that's it. That's the last thing we're going to use it on. I just can't see that. Maybe later on in a system update it'll come out with support for it, but yeah, right now it's not. I really think it should have been out of the gate, because I mean you're
seems like
really
the most
limiting your
proprietary
audience.
thing I've ever heard of. Like this is proprietary to our system, and then only proprietary to this game.
I don't know.
That'd be a waste, I think, of.
And you would think it would not be that difficult, because they had GameCube support for Virtual Console before, and all it's doing now is it's running through a stupid adapter that's converting to USB. How fucking hard can that be to get that to work, to shoehorn that in? I can't imagine it'd be that hard. Just fucking map it to classic controller stuff.
I still feel like at some point we're inevitably going to get Virtual Console GameCube games, and this would be a very logical thing to use with it.
And it's just like they're so backwards. So it's just like, hey, it's not like a surprise that we're going to release this. You knew this for quite a long time. You think you could have put one developer on, I don't know, shoehorning this into Virtual Console or for use with other games? I wouldn't have thought that would have been too difficult for you, but apparently it is. So
since clearly I'm never going to get a new F-Zero, because they're going to tease me by putting like Mute City and Mario Kart or whatever the fuck they're doing, I can at least get F-Zero GX on Virtual Console. Would be nice.
Yeah. And with that, of course, the rumored date of November 21st ended up being the release date for Super Smash Bros. In North America. So Europe is getting it December 5th. And of course, the Amiibo characters will be coming out around that time.
What do they do? We know they're coming, but why should I buy them? Besides,
They're literally AI characters that you can level up, and that's it. It's fucking useless. I mean, cool. You know what? I have no qualms against getting some of those because they look cool and put them on your shelf and stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as functionality goes, it's fucking stupid.
Okay, so in other words, Amiibo is really more there for the
It's
figure collecting.
Yeah, it's figure collecting, but apparently later on you're going to be able to use it with Mario Kart and shit like that. You know what it's for? It's just because they needed some shit to sell this stuff right now. And then later on when the new 3DS comes out with the fucking near-field communication shit, then it's going to drop. Boom! New fucking Pokemon. Boom! Boom! Oh, look, amiibo characters for every fucking Pokemon. And you know you're going to be buying every single one of those for $13 each. Cha-ching. We're printing money again. That's where they're going to make their money. Fuck it. Who cares if the Wii U sucks? You know what? We're making tons of money off these fucking toys. That is where they're going to go. Because it works for Activision and their goddamn Skylanders franchise.
All right, calm
And fucking
down. We
Disney
haven't
Infinity.
calmed down until that press release comes out.
It's going to happen. Same with Nintendo DS and 3DS titles on the Wii U.
You know, if they can put Pikachu's face on it, they'll do it. You know,
Yeah,
but-
Pikachu already. Pikachu's going to be one of those characters.
I
so.
know.
All right. Anyways, to go along with that, there's a little bit of speculation when Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker was coming out, and I remember saying that I don't fucking care when it comes out. But if you do care, it's coming out December 5th.
I care.
And it's going to be priced for $40, which, you know
What
what?
a
That's
bitch.
$20 too expensive. So just wait for the
But
bargain.
Loki, Toadette's in it.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I guess that totally justifies a $40 price point then.
Now I don't care.
I can continue to go. No,
I was totally teasing. I hate Toadette. I really do.
I
just-
think it's whatever.
I have
You
an
know what?
irrational. It's a totally irrational hatred. I can't explain.
She's
I
like
think-
one of those useless friend characters from Sonic.
Exactly. Toadette reminds me of one of Sonic's shitty friends. Like, she's in the wrong franchise. And I'm sorry if you're a Toadette fan, but I think like Double Dash just really left a bad taste
Toadette
in the beginning.
it's all part of the same thing that they're doing
Okay.
with like even like Smash
Hold on,
Bros.
because Piper.
So
Looks like I hurt Piper's
specifically-
feelings.
Specifically, if you're a Toadette fan, who the fuck are you?
You need to look at your life, look at your choices.
Hold on. Don't scare the listeners away. We're kidding. Just you know, hey, write us an email. Tell us why we're wrong. All right.
Okay, well I'm just saying
Address
that
it to participate at orangeloungeradio.com. Attention, Piper.
it's a character they created to have more female characters so that people can play as it. So you know it's not alienating. You know. Other
Okay, but
audiences.
Can
out
we
there.
get like Birdo? Because Birdo's fucking awesome.
Oh, I'm sorry. Birdo may be considered transgender or something like that. So fuck
I'm
that
not
shit.
even.
Fuck that shit because we're Nintendo.
Transgender needs representation as well.
That is
I agree.
That is true.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I think Captain Rainbow should be in the fucking Smash Brothers, but you know, where the fuck is that? You know, we can't even get Captain Rainbow in there because that was fucking awesome. You know, I wish.
And Loki, I know you want Tingle in Smash Brothers. I know. I guess he's an assist.
you know
trophy.
what? I think that would be funny. You know, that'd be kind of cool. Like, why not? You know, let's do that.
Tingle as a boss character.
I'd be down with that. Anyways, so there's that. And then what else? Let's see. Oh, and you know, in Japan, it's already sold 2.8 million units. So that's pretty awesome. So cool. And then the what was it Lionhead? If once again. Thank God that Peter Molyneux's not hyping this shit up, but you know, if you care, Fable Legends is having their beta pretty soon, so you can actually register for that if you want to check out their game, and it's at fablelegends.com/beta signup, and go ahead and check it out. I guess the beta is supposed to start October 16th, so cool. Honestly, though, I've been so burnt out with Fable games, I just can't. So, oh well.
You can't even.
I can't. I can't even. I seriously. I just don't care anymore.
Just getting Loki to say that on the show just made my night. All right, moving on. Let's talk about Factor 5. And Factor 5, apparently some news came out of what they were working on before they, weren't working on it anymore. Here's the thing. It was actually a Rogue Squadron trilogy remake for the Wii. That was the game that, and interesting enough, it was starting on the Xbox, but Factor 5, like a lot of developers at the time, were like, oh, hey, the Wii does motion control, and this is crazy new thing everybody's into. So, yeah, that is what they did. But unfortunately, financial hardship, legal snafus, budgetary restrictions, all ended up killing the game. So it should be noted that the former president of Factor 5, Julian Egbrecht, loves the Wii U, but its unpredictable trajectory and licensing troubles in general make a Star Wars Wii U game unlikely. You know what else was noted about this game? Lightsaber battles used one-to-one motion controls. Wasn't that what everybody wanted on the Wii?
Yeah, and you didn't get anything like that until Wii Sports Resort came out.
Oh, yeah,
because
they did,
remember
like,
they
fake-
had the other.
Yeah.
They had a lightsaber battle game, and it was kind of crap. Yeah.
If you are playing Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition, this would be the console version of Diablo 3. There was a patch this week that brought the game in line with the recent 2.1 patch on PC. However, it's missing seasons. The big season, the thing I was talking about at the beginning of the show, I reached 70 on my seasonal hardcore character on PC. I won't be able to do that on console because they don't have seasons on console. And they haven't really said why, but we were talking a little bit about this on Horde House, and Extiver said that it's probably because of the fact that people have already hacked Diablo 3 on console because it's not required to be online like the PC one is. So therefore, people would cheat the shit out of the system, which unfortunately does make sense. And I kind of wish, like, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I kind of wish you could, like, opt in to have Diablo 3 always online, like, while you're playing the season mode maybe. And then, like an opt-in thing.
Why
like,
can't season mode be online?
Yeah, or something like that. Like, I'm kind of surprised.
They have that, like, you know, with, like, Call of Duty, which pisses me off sometimes. They've got certain game modes, even though you're playing them single player or whatever, they have to be online. Or, like, if you want to play two-player, it's got to be played over online. You can't play it through LAN for some reason because of rankings and stuff. I don't see why they couldn't do this.
Yeah, I wish they could. I wish they could figure a way out because you know, even though seasons are, it's just seasons. It did make me go revisit the game and try a new character and do something I never did before. So it would be fun to do on PS4 as well. Anyway, in celebration of this patch, it should be noted that through the 17th. The console versions are getting some different little buffs, temporary buffs. If you're playing on the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, well, you got screwed out of the patch because they said that they're not going to be patching for the older systems. But you will get a 100% experience boost. Ooh, for the whole week. On the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, the Treasure Goblin spawn rate will be doubled. So you get double trouble when it comes to treasure goblins for the week in celebration of this patch in Diablo 3. Hey, music game fans, if you're still following that whole community, Pump It Up 2015, that's going to be a thing that's happening, as Andamiro released a teaser trailer for this game this week, where Pump It Up 2015 is going to be a thing. However, the teaser trailer doesn't really show any features of the game, but it does show some of the artists joining the roster, and it is slated for November 2014. So,
God, I wish Andamiro was putting out DDR games.
Yeah, right? But I'm sure Jonas will be back in a future week on the show. In fact, I see him in chat right now. What's up? And he can fill us in on all the new features, which maybe we'll know more about Pump It Up, because I know he's still playing that. So let's see. Dark Sakura.
Well, in other news, how about Little Big Planet 3 stuff? It's getting a new voice actor added to the roster as the main baddie for that. You get Hugh Laurie. How's that sound?
Yes.
And then
only if he says at some point, like, let's say my character like falls down a pit or gets hit or something, he says it's not lupus. It's the only way I'm going to accept Hugh Laurie in the game.
Well, in other news, we have stuff about Hatsune Miku this year. Not only that Nomura Tetsuya made a version of her during a New York Art exhibition that you can actually see running through October 19th. She was also on David Letterman.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I saw it and it was super awkward. I'm sorry. Like it was so weird. Jayveemon, are you a Hatsune Miku person or?
He's the one that gave me my wall scroll.
I'm indifferent. I'm not a hater, but I'm not like, oh my god.
Yeah, I don't hate Hatsune Miku, and actually the game is really fun. So like I want to make that clear. It's just the whole like seeing it on David Letterman. I was just like, this is so weird. Like, sorry guys, I know some of you were into it, but I was just like, this is like the weird. Like the hologram just looked like a projection to me. Like it didn't look.
Well,
right.
did you see the gorilla stuff? It looks the same way.
The gorilla stuff I have seen before, and that but it didn't look like that on Letterman. And granted, it probably had to be condensed because
I'm sure it looks better in person than
over
does. TV.
It probably does.
I've got when I was borrowing those Hatsune Miku games, instead of one of the games, I actually got a concert DVD instead. So it looked really good on the stage. I'm sure it'd be just fine.
Some comments in our chat over at live.vognetwork.com. Dark Tetsuya says, yeah, I'm not sure Dave got it, TBH. And ActF says, yeah, it was awkward. Sal says, the audio was bad on Letterman. And Fifth Dream says, yeah, and the stage composition. I bet that stage, because, everything looks bigger on TV, but in reality, Letterman's studio is probably not much bigger than the studio we do OLR in.
It's smaller than it looks like on TV.
Oh, yeah. Like Price is Right. Price is Right is like a small movie theater. It's tiny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, and in other news, we have word from Obama. Urging the FCC to ban fast lanes and saying that he is unequivocally committed to net neutrality. So thanks, Obama.
We can say unironically, thanks, Obama.
I will not ever do the ironic thanks, Obama, but in this case, I'm doing it completely unironically. Just because I think that that's a meme that needs to die.
I like some of the GIF files that people produce of that, though. Like from the really bad infomercials of like the woman that like drops all the Tupperware that falls on her and it just comes up and says, thanks, Obama.
I'll tell you why it needs to die is because keep in mind how many people I know in Alabama.
Yeah,
and my family, and they still legitimately say that to everything that they don't like in government.
I know some people take it one step too far, but if you put the funny spin on it, I think it's great.
When you see it every day and people are not being ironic about it, it tends to get a little old.
You need to learn about the mute feature on Facebook.
You know what? You need to have it sit in I bet, no, never mind. No one needs to sit in a room with my mom when she gets political.
That's a fate you don't wish on anyone, right? All right.
I don't even wish it on me.
Well, you know what? We're going to sit in a virtual room with our listeners as we travel to our Facebook and Google Plus page and ask the Fugle question of the week. Every week we ask a question of our Facebook and our Google Plus communities. And, of course, when you slam those words together, you get Fugle. I think that was Piper. That was you that asked earlier. What's a Fugle? What the hell is that? All right. There it is. All right. Here it is. So tonight, in honor of our guest, because I always like to do questions when I can that are kind of based around the guest, right? Last week we had pinball, which, by the way, follow up to that, if you didn't see, the Addams Family Pinball Kickstarter was a success. So that is going to happen.
Hooray.
I like to think we helped a little bit with that, but no, in all seriousness, they did make it, so we are going to get the Addams Family table. Anyway, but that was last week. This week, we had Bodie, of course, from Lunar Games earlier in the show. So we wanted to ask, what is your favorite new school, old school game? Because, you know, Timespinner is a new school game, but it definitely draws influences from Star Ocean, Symphony of the Night, and Mega Man X. So what is your favorite new game that has the feel of an old classic, and why? And I'll let you guys here in the studio answer this too. But first, let's go to the listeners. So over on Facebook, one of my favorite nicknames, William Murderface, says, do you like that, Princess Irene? William Murderface? All right.
Such a good show, too.
It is. William Murderface says, I would have to say the first Witcher. It kind of feels like you're playing an old Neverwinter game with some elements of Diablo, a great story, and, for the first time, somewhat innovative combat system. You know, I'm not familiar with the Witcher series, but I was really impressed with what I saw of Witcher 3 at E3, specifically the art direction and the way the story was being told. I was like, this is going to fill in a big gap for some, like, Skyrim and Oblivion, what the hell? Elder Scrolls. Why couldn't I think of that? For Elder Scrolls fans, I feel like that's going to fill in a gap. Anyway, Hitstun says, this is my favorite trend in video games. I love developers that revisit 90s gameplay styles with the design sensibilities we've learned in the past 2 decades. I still want to play Freedom Planet, a new 2D mascot platformer on PC that got its start as a Sonic the Hedgehog fan game, and it shows. Elliot B says, I loved Anodyne. I hope I said that right. Anodyne, which is a super creepy tribute to A Link to the Past. It's all framed in a Game Boy style square format. Bonus answer, Super Time Force is great too. SSG 100 Matt says, I played the hell out of Shadow Complex when it came out a while ago. The game was heavily inspired by Super Metroid, and it ultimately went on to inspire other similar styled games, i.e. the Swapper. And Jonas replied and said, Rogue Legacy, that old school feeling of Metroidvania with randomized dungeons. Unpredictable and challenging every time you enter the dungeon. Over on Google Plus, we had a few answers, and ActF says Shovel Knight is probably the best new old game. It has all the stuff that made all the NES games great, stuffed into a fantastic game. Dust and Elysian Tale comes close too. Tom W. also said Rogue Legacy, with the old feel of PS1 and GBA Castlevania games, but with a roguelike twist to modern conventions. Redtertainment says, does it count if Forza Horizon 2 reminds me a lot of Burnout Paradise? Well, I don't know if Burnout's classic yet, but I guess it's getting there, so close enough. And let's see, lastly, Josh Y replies on Google and says, I find I'm very impressed by the Terry Cavana games. He stole my answer. VVVVVV and Super Hexagon. Of the former, my proudest moment was completing Veni Vidi Vici after literally days of trying. That was a very hard board in VVVV, and I loved VVVV. That game was amazing. What about you guys? Your favorite new old game? Anybody? Don't all jump at once. Loki.
Cave Story.
Okay, good. Yeah, Cave Story, and they kind of like redid Cave Story several times.
Yeah,
even
it was pretty good.
It's kind of meta there a little bit. Piper, you have an answer over there?
I had two. One that's kind of upcoming. I loved Guacamelee recently, which was
great.
Brilliant. I found myself just living Metroid through a lucha.
Yeah,
which was all I wanted in life.
And the
Now
music
I can die happy.
The music is so fucking good in that game.
It is, and there's like if you're looking closely, there's nothing but hundreds and hundreds of like just love notes to games in the past.
Yeah, all the memes and shit too. Like when you're in the towns, like there's like Grumpy Cat and shit show up, and it's great.
It's incredible. And then I love Myst clones for recent. They're all live. They're not panel based anymore. But Dear Esther was great, and I'm looking forward to The Witness by Jonathan Blow. It'll be similar. They're kind of puzzle based like that, or I guess they're kind of slower paced Portals without the the physics based puzzle in it.
Did you play Gone Home at all? Random question.
I have not. That's next
pretty
on my
good.
list because
It's
people
pretty
said
good.
it was good.
Yeah, it's very good. Very good. Princess Irene? I don't know if you have one.
Timespinner. Duh.
Good answer. Good answer.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Hold on. Are you on the payroll of that guy's company? 'Cause,
I should be, Bodie.
right.
No.
we got to make sure we're ethical, or we might get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Right.
Jayveemon?
Super Time Force.
Somebody mentioned that in the Facebook comment too. What do you like about it?
It's kind of like Contra-ish, because it's kind of just running and gunning, but then you can, like, if you fuck up, you can just rewind and redo the level. It's the humor, and it's just very amusing. Like, it'll just show up into a new time zone, and it's like, time, your birthday, place, your mom.
Jamie, anything that comes to mind for you?
I'll say To the Moon.
Oh, okay.
That one is probably, and I like it because it's pure story. It's just pure story with a little bit of puzzle in it, and the puzzles aren't terrible. I honestly could do without the puzzle parts, just because I love going through the whole story of it, and I sadly had to put it aside for a lot of work and a bunch of other stuff that's coming on. But as soon as we move, it's actually back up on the top of my list to finish.
Nice.
I have already had sob fests.
I was going to say, get the Kleenex.
During the first part of the, even in the first, 2 sections of the game, I was like, that's so sad. The feels, And, of course, Hot to Full Boyfriend. It's a dating sim, visual novel.
There you go.
That's old school, but pigeons.
I thought of an answer that nobody's mentioned yet, even though it's kind of cheating. The new DuckTales game.
That's totally cheating.
Which is kind of. But here's the thing. The only thing that really bugged me about the new DuckTales game, you might remember way back in my review, was the freaking cutscenes. Did we ever get away to skip? I guess I don't know, but
You press
the new,
pause and you can hit skip movie.
does it?
Yeah.
I still remember the first time I played through it, you couldn't do it or something. It was annoyed the hell out of me. But anyway, all right. But the new DuckTales was still very, very, very well done. So I was happy with that. All right, let us get back into some news. Thanks, you guys, for the answers. And again, if you want to answer in a future week, Facebook.com/OrangeLoungeRadio or Google.com/plus OrangeLoungeRadio. Let's get back into some news, and then we'll get to your calls and the mailbag and all that good stuff. So, Loki, what do you got for us?
Oh, my eyes and how they roll. So you may remember back when we talked a little bit about Lindsay Lohan suing Rockstar Games and Take-Two Interactive because
she's out of money.
Well, yeah, definitely because she's out of money. Because she, claimed that her likeness was used in the game for a character, Lacey Jones, which is like some sort of, actress that was drinking and doing all sorts of promiscuous stuff and that kind of thing. Well, now she's amended her lawsuit to change the claim. The claim now is not that she's, that character, but in fact, this bikini-clad blonde woman that is on the game disc and promotional art and stuff like that. There is no fucking way that Lindsay Lohan is this person. This person looks nothing like her at all.
I took serious issue with this because I thought I had heard something about them modeling her after Kate Upton.
Yeah, there is actually a photograph of I think it was Kate Upton that it's almost in the same pose where they slightly changed some stuff and they kind of based it off of that.
Right.
So there's no way that this is Lindsay Lohan, but you know what? She's trying to change her plea, or her complaint, I guess, so that I guess they can do allow for a different type of lawsuit in New York or something like that. Fuck if I know. I don't. Obviously, she's not going to win this. There's no way in hell.
There is only one way to settle this. There's only one way this can probably be settled, and that is Judge Judy has to do it. Come on, America. Come on, we want to see this. Judge Judy has to settle this because you all want to see Judge Judy just rip into Lindsay Lohan.
Does she still work?
Well, Judge Judy?
Yeah, I thought she was.
Oh God, she's still like the #1 syndicated show on
Not
TV.
retired
She's
at all,
bigger
then.
than Oprah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So,
Well, yeah.
yeah, I know, right? Who knew?
Right. Fuck me, right?
Going to chat over at live.vognetwork.com. Explicit, or Jonas, says Lilo fucking sues everything, and she loses because of how bad her points are. She sued Pitbull. What's a pitbull? Pitbull for using her. Now Pitbull's going to sue me because I'm a dumbass. She sued Pitbull for using her name.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
That
Thank
wasn't
you.
long ago either.
Thank you for the Lilo update. I didn't realize that Jonas was the go-to guy for my Lilo news.
I didn't realize Lilo was
like a thing.
Yeah.
Well, like J-Lo and.
There's no way. I mean, seriously, is this going to go
You
into...
can just call me Arro.
Like, all the judge has to do is look at the picture, look at her, look at the picture, look at her, and go, are you fucking kidding? Out? I mean, just like, seriously, there's... In her prime... No,
Never.
not even in her prime would she look like this person. I mean... I've seen the Playboy photos. There is no fucking way that she looks like this person.
I feel like you're suddenly our expert here in studio.
Right.
Well, I've seen the photos.
There is literally no way that she looks like this person, and definitely not now. Fuck no, not now. She just. And what is it, Lindsay? Are you this person in the game, or are you this person? Because you know what? I'm starting to think that you're based off of maybe a different character in the game.
She certainly is based off of a character. You know what, Lindsay, if you're listening to us, we have some advice for you. Stop
listening to us?
No.
Stop.
No. Just everything else that you think is a good idea, stop.
She would have had a better chance of arguing that she was based off of the character Trevor Phillips in Grand Theft Auto 5 versus, this bikini model.
Because she's up on meth or whatever.
Now suddenly I have this image of Lindsay Lohan lying in her bed with headphones on, listening to OLR, and just a single tear falling down her face.
The people in Sacramento.
No,
It's like so
she
mean
would
to me
file a
on the
lawsuit
radio.
against us for using
For
her
the
name.
record, Lindsay, I've never seen Mean Girls.
Okay.
I know.
Right?
I know. I will see it at some point. Gasp. But I still like that I can use that right now.
Hey, she was.
Oh
She
my
was
God!
hot.
And you say that on the week of the 10-year anniversary. Like, why don't you just, pull down your pants and
Because-
poop on it?
Because that means
Pixel
that
shits.
because that means that after I'm done playing Hot to Full Boyfriend on Tuesday, someone has to bring the movie over.
She was hot pre-drugs. I mean, it's just after the drug thing, it just kind of went downhill. But like before that, she had it going on. It was just
That should be the new FBI warning that shows up on video games. Like, warning. Winners don't do drugs.
Warning, Lindsay Lohan was hot before drugs.
But Lindsay Lohan did.
I
See
can't
what
not
happened.
think
Wow.
of... I listen to Kevin Smith podcast.
Oh,
and
shots
they have
fired.
a little hole. And they have a little jingle so that they don't get sued. It's just the beginning of Desperado. But they had somebody write in that said, Lindsay Lohan, why don't you come to your senses? And then it just ends. Every time I hear her name, I think that just goes straight through my head.
Rama in chat says Mean Girls was better when it was called Heathers. Hey, look, I love Heathers too, but they are
Heathers
different.
is great.
They're very different. Heathers was a very dark comedy. Mean Girls is like Tina Fey, which is like her own brand of comedy because she's so great. 30 Rock, all of that. Like, just if Tina Fey touches it, I'll probably see it.
But Heather's was awesome.
Explicit says same. Haven't seen the Mean Girls either. Okay, do I have to have like a movie night here at Studio OLR? Because I think I do. Right
Guys,
now.
I
Like
have
some
to
sort of
work
Mean
in the
Girls
morning.
shadow cast.
All right.
Okay, I work
Good
a
night,
10-hour
everybody.
shift.
Good night, everybody, because this is so not fetch right now. This is so not.
don't get to use that
Okay,
anymore.
so she claims because she's worn a bikini that happens to be red and a hat that she is this person that's in the picture because this person has a hat on and in a different picture has a red bikini.
That's a different girl. The other one was holding an iPhone or an Apple phone.
All right. The Multitap
The other one was
Podcast will be
pretty.
back during the holiday season to do their rendition of Jingle Bell Rock. So everybody look forward to that, just so you guys know. So, what? I thought you saw Mean Girls. No, you don't get a jingle. Oh, yeah, you're a liar. All right. All right, moving on. Let's talk about Square Enix and their own lawsuit, although they are actually the ones suing SNK Playmore. And this is because of copyright infringement accusations. This is actually... Okay, so here's the thing. SNK sued Square Enix in May, claiming that they used copyrighted SNK characters without permission in High School Girl. Well, this is a manga series. So SNK said that characters from the King of Fighters and Samurai Showdown were used over 100 times, and there was no permission for this. So police collected evidence in August from Square Enix's offices. What the hell kind of investigation does that look like? We're here to investigate high school girls.
Show us your assets.
All right. So anyway, Square Enix has been cooperating with the law. Well, now they are seeking an authoritative opinion from the Osaka District Court to determine that it has not infringed an SNK copyright, and it will prove the point through civil procedures. So, sorry, not like a lawsuit in the sense that, again, this will end up in Judge Judy, but basically telling the judge to say, no, you shut up. No, you shut up. No, you shut up. It's
And then
essentially
Judge Judy's like,
what's
y'all
happening.
shut the fuck up.
That's right. Why don't you
Both of
both
you.
shut up? You're both dumb.
Which characters did they rip off of, allegedly?
I don't know.
They didn't rip off any character, or what was it? Well, I remember the SNK one originally is because they were playing Neo Geo in the comics.
What? That's dumb.
And I guess because they had, the Neo Geo stuff in there, and I guess they were playing King of Fighters that they referred to the characters in the comic.
Okay,
I don't know.
that's silly.
Shouldn't they be happy for free advertising? No.
Are they even really selling anything though?
That
So it's
might
like,
be
who
why they
cares?
need money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Dark Tetsuya in chat says, now there's an episode of Law and Order I'd like to see. Oh, that's what I need on my sound effects board. Bong bong. All right.
Okay, sorry to go back once again to the Lindsay Lohan thing. I'm
Come
sorry.
on.
No, it's hilarious though because in their one of their pieces of evidence, if you type in Lindsay Lohan GTA 5, it pulls up the picture of that woman. The second picture that's in there is of the actual picture that they based that picture off of. And they also think that, see, this character is Lacey Jonas or whatever in the thing. That character that's a bikini model is not that Lacey Jonas character from the game. It's a completely separate person that doesn't even exist. It's just an NPC character that they used. It's like in Grand Theft Auto 4. They have the prostitute on there. That was an NPC character that's not really in
Just
the game.
somebody random you can sleep with and then shoot.
Yes.
A mascot.
Ah, I see. All right. All right. Are you done?
I'm done. I just
All
thought
right,
it was
promise.
funny. Like they've shot holes in their own argument through this evidence that they had.
All
They're
right.
like, we don't care. She's paying us.
All right. Amanda Bynes hasn't been in any video games, has she? Did they make a video game out of Easy A? All right. Moving on. All right. Dark Saga.
Well, this is actually super cool. There's a journalism school that's actually using a grant to teach journalist game design. By cool, it's interesting. Basically, they're using it's American University School of Communication is using a $250,000 grant from the Knight Foundation for programs to train journalists in game design. So it's called Journalism Leadership Transformation, with 6 positions, 3 working for journalists and 3 for journalism students. So they enroll in the Game Design Master's Degree program, work in the game lab, and then help organize 2 different summits in Washington, D.C. So basically it's... I'm not so sure that it's actually journalism, but... See, that's where it kind of gets me. It's cool that there's going to be a degree program set up for that, but very, I think, odd that it's going to be done through a journalism school. Now, if they had one on how to not report on video games like your Kotaku, then sign me up. I mean, I'm sorry, we already know how. I don't know. It's kind of cool and not so cool.
Interesting. Do you think that, there's obviously without going too far down this rabbit hole, I just kind of want to step over it and peek in. But do you think, I mean, there's a lot of talk about ethics in game journalism out there. Obviously, we know that's a very big issue right now. So, I mean, is there maybe a need for somebody to come in and set like these standards? Because it seems like right now, all these websites set their own standards. There's nothing like the AP rulebook.
Well, and Reuters won't even consider any video game journalistic source as a true source because they don't meet the standards for journalistic integrity.
Well, now I cannot imagine why Reuters would not give the video game community the time of day. Anyway, but that's
no, they said that they don't include it in the list of associated feeds that they use because they don't meet the standards. They said if any single one of them fit the standards for journalistic integrity, they'd be happily included.
They're like the Wikipedia of journalists.
Yeah, except Wikipedia typically has better information.
Sial in chat has a good suggestion here. How not to be sensationalistic clickbait 101. 29 reasons why you're a crappy journalist. Click here to learn more.
Only 29.
With GIFs. All right, anyway. All right, let's move on with some more news. Loki.
All right. So this is kind of cool. I'm actually, interested in purchasing this way. But Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, they're doing this kind of like what they did with Destiny a little bit, but slightly different. They're having where you buy the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 version of the game, and you get the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version for free. And this is if you purchase the game digitally between, I guess, now and March 31st of next year. And if you purchase that, you will not only get, the current Gen 1, but the last Gen 1 as well. And I guess on PlayStation 3, the way it's going to work is it's actually cross-buy, so you can, purchase it that way and be able to play it on both systems. And I think the Xbox 360 one is the same thing. So, except they don't have cross-buy, you just get codes for both, which is awesome. I'm, looking forward to that because, eventually I want to get PlayStation 4. With the people I play Call of Duty with, they all have PlayStation 3s, so that's awesome. I'm going to pick it up on PS3, and then when I get PS4, I'll play it on PS4.
That's really cool to see more and more publishers kind of
yes.
doing this, especially with the sun is starting to set on the PS3 and Xbox 360. I mean, especially like next year, I really think next year you might get like one game, one big game, and that's really going to be it. Like the sun is starting to set on those systems, so, it's nice that they have these upgrades for the people
is
who
nice.
aren't ready yet.
And I mean, even like when we went back to talking to Minecraft, they didn't have to give you the Vita version for free if you have the PlayStation 3 version. Right. But it was cool that they did that. Yeah. I mean, I like how that seems to be kind of the norm with some of these digital games. Just like the stuff that's released specifically on the PlayStation Network, but now or even Xbox Live Arcade. But now they've got it where, actually, I don't think they do much cross-buy stuff on Xbox Live. But at least on PlayStation Network, though, now they're doing it with, actual disc release games and stuff like that, where you can get cross-buy stuff. It would have been awesome if they did it with, like, Forza Horizon 2. I would have purchased it on 360 digitally
Me
if
too.
I got the, Xbox One version.
Me too, absolutely.
But
because I'll get an Xbox One at some point because I'm a consumer whore, but like it's probably just not going to happen with all the conventions and shit this holiday. It's probably just not going to happen. So,
yeah.
Which, speaking of conventions, I want to make sure we throw it out here at some point because somehow this completely missed our show roll tonight. Like, oops. But it was just announced a couple days ago. Sony's going to be having their own little expo show, the PlayStation Experience. I'm sorry, I don't have the story in front of me, so I don't remember what the name of it was. But it's going to be the first weekend of December in Las Vegas. We don't know a whole lot more about it yet. We just know it is going to cost money to go to. I think they were saying $90 for a 2-day pass, something like that. It's BlizzCon, essentially, but it's Sony. Real quick, what do you guys kind of think about that? I don't know.
There'll be less to do. There'll be no cosplay and no bonus Murloc.
Than BlizzCon. I don't know. I mean, Sony could also just be like, here's your chance to play the Morpheus before anyone else. I could see Sony could do a pretty decent grab bag of stuff. They might have like a little Big Planet costume that only the convention goers can get. There's similar things they can do that BlizzCon does. I don't know. It's just be interesting. I kind of wish we got more notice because I'm sitting here going, Well, if I wasn't going to Vegas, like literally like 2 months before this, then maybe I'd do it back to back. I don't know. I still might. If I can make work, I kind of want, maybe. We'll see. I have to hear more about what's going to be there, So anyway, sorry, not to deviate too much. Here's the story I really wanted to talk about, and that is about, what's going on with Capcom and maybe some reasons why some of the games we want to be seeing out of Capcom are not happening. And this is in an interview with gaming publication Famitsu. Yoshinori Ono from Capcom said this, quote, "If a game doesn't sell over 2 million copies, then we'd have to put the brakes on any plans for a sequel. All that means is we weren't capable enough, and all we can do after that is reflect on the experience, take what we can learn from it, and try to apply those lessons on some other title." So in other words, if your AAA title at Capcom doesn't sell over 2 million copies, no sequel, which maybe this explains why suddenly we're not seeing a lot of the franchises we wish we were seeing out of Capcom. Thoughts on hearing this?
This feels like the was it Crystal Dynamics recently that did the Tomb Raider, and they were ultra disappointed at, I think it was under 6 million sales. So they were talking about not making, which I think they're making a sequel to now, but they were talking about not doing it because they considered that a critical failure.
To be fair, I believe Square Enix had made the comment in that, because Crystal D was the developer and then Square Enix is the publisher.
So
and I think the Square Enix guy made the comment, but then through all the Steam sales and all this other stuff, Tomb Raider, I think they said, they came out later and somebody there had said it's in the black. It made money to kind of dispel what had the damage that had been done by the other comments, But then, now we see that Microsoft obviously chipped in a pretty hefty amount of money to make the sequel happen, because they're getting the exclusive window or whatever. So, yeah,
I think that Capcom doesn't really have room to be choosy right now, because how many fucking franchises do they have that they actually putting out stuff for?
Well, here's my thought, too, is that
Dead Rising?
in the film industry, sometimes you have direct-to-video sequels, and they're intentionally low budget because, that they're not maybe going to make as much money as the first one did. So I kind of question, I thought the Mega Man game that they were doing, Mega Man Universe or whatever at one point, was supposed to be like a DLC, or sorry, not DLC, but online only, marketplace only, a digital title that was supposed to be kind of like a smaller thing. Maybe it got too big, I don't know. But I kind of go, well, that's like a direct-to-video sequel in a way.
Had, I remember seeing a chart from them at one time. It was 8 core franchises that they had, and it was, Lost Planet, Dead Rising, Dead or Alive, Street Fighter. I think they actually listed Street Fighter 4, Monster Hunter, I guess, in Japan. I'm trying to think of what the other ones would be. Resident Evil. So they don't have a lot of, they keep releasing sequels for these things, but they don't have a lot of really brand new franchises that they're kind of putting out there. When's the last time we've seen a new franchise from them, aside from, I think Dead Rising was the last thing, or was that Lost Planet that came out?
Lost Planet, I think, came out after.
That might have been after. No, those are both 2006 because they were at the E3 demo thing, I think.
Weren't they demoing a free-to-play PlayStation 4 title? Wasn't that Capcom? Or was that just because it was a familiar face? I want to say there was something Deep Down. Wasn't that it?
Oh, maybe. Oh, they had...
I thought so.
No, they had... What was it? They had an RPG that came out. The Dragon's Dogma, I think, was Capcom.
I think that was Capcom.
That was the last
Dungeon
new
Buster
IP that they had.
Dungeon Buster just brought up Dragon's Dogma in our chat room as well.
So, I don't know. I guess they could do that. But once again, I don't know if this is really going to affect a lot of things since they don't put out a lot of new IPs. It's just kind of sequels and rehashes.
Deep Down is the free-to-play Capcom title, by the way.
I guess we just won't get DuckTales 2.
Well, or somebody gets the license, or like what Way Forward did, where they did do DuckTales. So, all right. Anyhow, let's go to the mailbag. Every week, you guys email us your thoughts to participate at orangeloungeradio.com. And Dark Sakura dives into the mailbag and hopefully doesn't get too messy and coded in, all the things that the listeners send to us. But it seems like this week the mailbag was pretty empty, sad face.
Yes.
All right. Well, what do
so
we
I have all 2 of them.
Oh, there was only one earlier when I looked, so.
Okay. Well, one of them is, oh my God, how long is this? All right, whatever. Let's just dive in. Hey, OLR crew, AZHP here. I wrote in last week about my roommate's experiences with the educational game-making company Galaxies.
You missed this during the show last week, by the way, Darsagar, just so you know. This is going to be a follow-up email to something that you unfortunately missed because you had to leave early last week.
Yep. And how poorly the CEO runs the company. Rob expressed concern, rightfully, that my secondhand knowledge could be very well fabricated or inaccurate. I appreciate Rob's shrewdness and due diligence as a reporter and wanted to present some quotes from Glassdoor, a website which allows users to anonymously review their employers regarding the company KNO, which the CEO of Galaxies, Osman Rashid, was CEO of prior to founding Galaxies. The CEO is very intelligent but too focused on maximizing productivity per employee. Unfortunately, buying Jamba Juice on Thursdays isn't enough to deal with the insane demands. The load on any one person is probably equivalent to 2 or 3 full-time jobs at a normal company. There's far too much work on everyone's plate. Mistakes happen. People get chewed out. The result is stress and loathing. Another quote. In a typical rush season, the CEO will request that all employees work 7 days a week. Many end up working 21 days straight, which is an enormous mental burden for anyone. And illegal. Employees get shredded by overly aggressive managers for mistakes that occur, which are inevitable when you're working 80-plus hours a week. I'm going to skip down to 2 more quotes. Kiss the time with your family, wife, and kids goodbye. Kind of rough when you are running at 110%, 365 days a year, and they pay you below the market rate. All right. And then this one's a pretty big quote here. Some employees are not even informed during the hiring process about the work environment they might be facing. Employees are forced to cancel their vacation plans for the bad planning of the management, while the management and people related to the management go on vacation anytime. Married employees could go to the brink or into divorce when working at this company. If you have a family, don't even bother applying at this company. Some managers are very bad. They harass on the phone thinking they don't leave any trail behind for a lawsuit. They advertise on their career section, take time off as needed, but they will not let you take the time off even when you really need it. So there's pretty good evidence that this guy who started an educational game company because he was frustrated that his kids didn't have any good educational games to play, does not understand how to run a company or keep people happy in the slightest, and hasn't learned since his previous company. Then again, he's a millionaire and sold his last company to Intel. So as long as there are suckers who will work for him, he'll still get his. However, I find it pretty hard to believe that the end product of Galaxies will be more than a middling educational tool with the way the team seems to be led. Sorry for the long email, but as someone who has worked in the game industry previously and values work/life balance, I wanted to step in and shed some light on what actually goes on behind happy press releases issued by the New York Science Foundation promising rainbows, puppies, and scientific education to children who play this game. Plus, I wanted to give Rob more evidence to corroborate the facts that I in the email I sent last week. Yours truly, AZHP.
And just to be clear, it's not necessarily that I don't believe you, but I sort of have to, so that we don't get sued. It's the same reason why on TV they never say, "Oh, yeah, the murderer did this." They say, "Allegedly, the alleged murderer did this." So that's why I have to take everything with a grain of salt. I will just say this: very interesting third-party evidence. You make a very strong case. You would do very well on Judge Judy.
I posted the link to the reviews in chat.
You bring up a very tough issue, and that is even that the games that are bad, we know there's a lot of and I have not played this game. We only have as you said, the Rainbows and Puppies press release really to go off of that took us down the memory lane of educational games. I can't judge the game until it comes out, whatever. But I'm just saying, out there are both good games and bad games, and even for the bad games, we hear about that sometimes there are just horrible conditions for employees to go through to make these games, and it's like, oh my God, there needs to be some that we need ethics there too. We need ethics in game development. It's just like, your game can wait 2 more months so that people can have an effing break once in a while, It's just ridiculous. I just think this is why some games turn out bad. They're rushed, and then these people don't get vacation, and then it affects the final product, But anyway, I could have a whole nother tangent dedicated to that, but I'll control myself.
Last email. Dear OLR, I freaking love Jonas and Diego. They are adorable as fuck, and I love hearing them talk about their experiences with the Smash community. Please bring them back so I can continue to squeak all the way from the land of video game happiness, Columbus, Ohio. Love, Osfer. P.S. I'd love to exchange friend codes with you guys. Shoot me a message on Facebook.
How much they pay us for sending that email? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, they are a lot of fun, and they'll be back again. I know. So,
Just to define this for you, your guys' definition of an empty mailbag is like 1 to 2 emails more than Multitap's mailbag.
well, you know what? I'm going to tell you this. Keep in mind, my friend, this is episode number 571 of Orange Lounge Radio, and
We're gonna get stepping.
yeah, I was to say Irene was here for episode 1. She was here for episode 1, so she can tell you. It took a long time before those emails started to come in.
We're making 500 of these this weekend. No vacation, no time off, nothing for you.
I remember for the first few episodes, for actually a long while, like even the amount of listeners. I mean, to be fair, podcasting was still kind of a new thing.
Wasn't it? When OLR first started, podcasting didn't exist, really.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you're kind of a trailblazer in that sense. But they weren't getting very many listeners, period. I mean, we were
12. We had 12 listeners on the
I was
first
going to say
episode.
about a dozen listeners. So I think
That was through DDR Freak advertising like mad, and me pimping it on Understation Live, which is the other show I did at the time, and we got 12, and we were like double digits for episode. We were so fucking excited, and now thanks to podcasting and iTunes and getting on that wave, we were fortunate enough to get a few more. I think consistency very important. If you're there for the listeners, they'll start to incorporate you into their daily routine and so forth. Sorry, Irene.
I was just saying, it takes time to build a listener base and to get your groove. So
Just trying to encourage your guys' mailbag.
What's that?
I was just trying to encourage you through your mailbag woes.
No, we still, even when we only get two emails, we appreciate them very much. So awesome.
Quality.
Well, if you want to send an email, maybe next week we'll get a compliment for our friends from Multitap Podcast, or maybe for
Maybe next
Jayveemon,
week we will,
or for
but we won't
everybody.
be here to read them.
Oh, that's right. We won't be here next week to read them. Well, maybe it'll pile up and we'll have 4 emails when we get back in 2 weeks. There you go. I know.
And then Rob won't have to threaten Kardashian music.
That's right.
on
You know,
again.
Piper, did you know that one week on the show I said if we don't get 4 emails, I'm playing music from Kim Kardashian Hollywood during
And
the
we
show.
did get 4 emails, and Rob played it anyway.
And it was glorious.
I did, because the chatters were like, "You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna. I dare you to do it. I dare." So I was like, "Don't test me." Here we
Well,
go.
and-
And you know what they said? They said, "I was expecting it to be a lot worse. The music's actually not bad in that game."
It was bad. It was bad.
All right.
Hey, pump it up, people. Not pump it up. The other game that's not DDR.
In the groove.
DDR
In the groove. In the
Oh.
groove. Yeah.
It was better
You
than
should
the
do.
groove music.
You should do Kardashian music in your game.
In the groove Kim Kardashian edition.
All right. Anyway, I know this is a very random train to go on. All right, let's get to the FUs of the week, because also since episode 1 we have always done the FUs of the week. Why do we do the FUs of the week on a video game show? Because sometimes we get angry, and this is our moment to let it all out of our system so that we don't rage on some noob on Xbox.
Because fuck you. That's why.
Oh, this is bad. Here is justice. Here is punishment. This is fucked up.
My FU goes towards people who are so absolutely married to their, and I'm using a quotey here, faction, that they refuse to remotely give anybody of another ideology a chance. If you are going to be as head in the ground as you accuse your opponents of being, guess what? You're part of the problem. We need to stop dividing lines between people and actually have conversations and be grown-ups instead of being little children pointing fingers at each other. The end.
Well, I'm sorry, Jamie, but for the Horde, and that's that.
And you're a stinky poopy head.
Well, I just got told. All right, Loki.
I guess this FU to my car needed tune-up. Well, not even need a valve adjustment that costs $500.
A valve adjustment sounds like something the guy made up. I'm sorry.
No, it's not actually. I've
right.
researched this in the past when I was having problems, and it's something that Honda Fits need after they get to about the mileage I have. And it's just it wouldn't be that.
You're laughing, but it's true. They fucking do that shit where they just make up.
You're low on
exam of valve adjustment.
You're low on blinker fluid. No, unfortunately, it's just because it's in the manifold and they have to disassemble like part of the engine. It takes 3.5 hours to do that. So it's all labor. Thank you, labor being so expensive.
All right, good help ain't cheap. All right. Let's see. My FU of the week goes to a couple things. They both have to do with the show I was doing last night. So my character, I had to wear a lot of makeup for my character last night, and like most of it came off, but the freaking eyeliner will not come off, and I just look like an emo kid today.
If you had told me this, I would have brought my eye makeup remover.
I don't know. Believe me, I've scrubbed with like Cetaphil and all that stuff like over and over. Like this stuff will not come off.
Rob, admit it. You look fabulous.
I know, but I look like I'm like gonna go to a Fall Out Boy concert or something. I just don't. It's not. Sorry to all the fans out there, but it's just like this isn't really my look. I just look really tired. I don't know. Anyway. Let's go to our guest, Jayveemon. You have some FUs of the week you want to get out?
FU to the landlord of the store I work at because he's not renewing the lease because reasons. So as of February, I'll be out of a job.
Aw.
And this is the second time that this has happened to me. Last year, because I work for FY, I don't care who knows. The store I worked at in Westchester last year, they closed down because the landlord's like, fuck you, we're not renewing your lease. You've been there 20 years, no one cares. So I got transferred back to a store in the Bronx, and now the landlord there is doing the exact same thing.
That's what FYE stands for, right? Fuck you, eh?
Pretty much.
I don't think FYE's from Canada, okay?
And fuck you to Alamo Car Rental, because when I went to get my car on Friday, I had to wait about 40 minutes to get registered, and then they made us wait outside because they had no cars. But they were still taking registrations for more cars. And it was kind of like, oh, a car just came back. Quick, get in and run. And it's just like, I haven't had coffee in like 5 hours, and I'm cranky as hell.
And they don't have Dunkin' Donuts here, so I don't know what you're going to do.
Starbucks, they have Starbucks here.
That's true. All right. Moving on. How about Piper? You got some FUs of the week you want to get out here? Something making you angsty?
Does it have to be personal or can it be like famous names?
You can do whatever you want it to be.
I've got 3 quick ones.
All right.
Fuck you, Lindsay Lohan. You know why.
You know what you did.
Fuck you, Phil Fish. I'm still mad, and Bodie Lee is like way better. I'm not even being professional now. Bodie Lee's cooler than you. And fuck you, whoever assembled my 3DS. I want it back, and I still hate you.
All right. You got to follow that, Princess Irene. Last but not least.
Fuck you to my cat. Because he's a dick. He keeps knocking over my digital frame. And I just want to punch him in his little cat nose because he's a jerk. Yes, I am cruel to my cat. Oh, not really. And then an ambiguous, generic fuck you to school-related things.
All right.
And that's it.
Very ambiguous.
Yeah, no one or thing in particular.
Right. There it is. Act Deft, by the way, who is our Mexican listener, one of our Mexican listeners. We have a couple.
Just the one.
Just the one. But no, he's been here like every week for a very long time, so we kind of call him the one in Mexico. But Act Deft for FYE says "fuck you, SA." So there you go. Somewhere between "fuck you A" and "fuck you SA" is the
fuck USA.
Fuck you. Oh.
2 levels.
All right.
That's deep, man.
There it is.
At least it's not like fuck your eggs.
Alan Alchemy in chat says OLR debuting the new Fall Out Boy single. Quote, if you think this podcast is long, you should see the reasons I'm breaking up with you. It totally sounds like a Fall Out Boy song.
Like a Taylor Swift
or
song.
something. God, are they the ones that have that song? Like, there's a song on the radio right now, and I swear it sounds like Fall Out Boy. It's one of those bands that samples like Tom's Diner. Do you remember?
I think it is.
Is
yeah.
that? Oh my God! I got so angry when I heard that the first time because, like, I'm hearing it, do 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 do, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, it's Suzanne Vega, and then it's like, I'm so mad, and I'm like, what did they do to Tom's Diner?
At least you don't have to hear it about 50 times a day at work because it's on our audio loop at work, so I hear it about maybe 50 times a shift.
Oh my god.
And every time I get fooled because I'm like, yeah, Tom's Diner. Wait, no, I should know better by now.
Oh my god. If I had to go through that, fuck yeah, euthanasia.
It's not in the fuck you section.
I don't know. All right. Anyway, we just got a couple more stories for you guys, and then we're going to open up the phones for you to call. Yay. Tell us we're pretty. 1-877-GAME-OLR. Or maybe you have a question or you want to talk about something else in games.
You can look into our eyes longingly, except you can't because we don't have a cam.
1-877-GAME-OLR or a username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. But first, two more stories here. Loki.
So, since I was so excited about Forza Horizon 2, I'm a little disappointed that for whatever reason, I guess it's because they really want you to buy an Xbox One, all the DLC that they're releasing for Forza Horizon 2 is only for the Xbox One. The Xbox 360 version, not even part of the Forza Rewards program thing that they have. They basically just said, hey, we're currently planning to release DLC only for the Xbox One version of Forza Horizon 2. Also, Forza Rewards benefits are only available on the Xbox One version of Forza Horizon 2. This means that Xbox 360 players will not receive Forza Rewards credits or cars. And they said progress in the 360 version of Forza Horizon 2 does not count towards your Forza Reward tier level score. Only progress in the Xbox One version of Forza Horizon 2 will count towards your overall Forza score and tier level and Forza rewards. Yeah, fuck you guys. Thanks a lot. It is your own fucking console. It's a first party game, and you're not even supporting that shit. You know how many people have an Xbox 360? It's like significantly more than have an Xbox One. You're not going to win people over this way.
Yeah. Like, I want to get Forza Horizon 2, but you're right. All this stuff I'm hearing about how basically the 360 version is kind of gimped. I'm like, well, then I need to hold out until I have an Xbox One, whenever that may be.
Exactly. And what if they do like a Game of the Year edition later on, like they did with Forza Horizon 5? Or Forza 5, not Horizon.
Or any
Forza Motorsports 5.
Any big game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, some sad news for those of you guys that like your magazines. Like, I know Dar Sakura loves her print media, but unfortunately, another magazine going away, and it's the official Nintendo magazine in the UK. Will be shutting down on November 11th. This is announced by Future Publishing and Nintendo. The magazine staff, however, good news, they're going to be shifted to other positions within the company, so at least they're not using the, redundancy. It's the UK, so it's redundancies. Right. Anyhow, from the website, quote, Nintendo will continue to speak directly to fans via Nintendo Direct, our social media and online channels, and public events. Internet, expos, right? Those are the four things they just said there. So there it is. The unofficial Nintendo UK magazine stopped publishing in 2012, the same year that Nintendo Power ceased operations. So that's unfortunate. The cool thing about this magazine, too, is I've seen some pictures. When you stack the magazines all side by side, like the first 100 or so issues are like the Nintendo logo, and these last few were like a Wii U. So they actually look kind of cool sitting on your shelf. So that, that sucks. That's a bummer. And, I don't know, it's cool that you can get magazines on your iPad and all, but it's just not the same when sitting on the toilet. It's not the same at all, because you're like, I have this expensive thing in here, and I don't want to get water on it accidentally. All right. Anyway. There it is. Going away. Dar Sakura, surely you're having a sad about that. I mean, I am. I doubt you.
But I never actually read the UK magazine, so I'm slightly indifferent, but print media will always be awesome.
There you go.
You can never digitize the smell of ink.
All right. Well, we are going to go to the Skype line, 1-877-GAME-OLR, or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. Let's see if anybody would like to call. You can talk about anything we've talked about tonight, or maybe there's something else you want to bring up. I don't know. But the phones are open now, so let's get to it. While we wait for your calls, let me check with Loki and see if there's any last-minute stories. I'll bring up Twitter here.
Not yet.
Not yet?
They're going to do a comic for Valiant Hearts.
Are they?
From the iOS game, and I think that's coming out. Was it on PlayStation 4 and stuff? So they're doing
nice. That's right. Didn't the handheld Sony things do comics? I remember the PSP did.
Well, yeah, and this is kind of cool because this is one of the. I think this was using that UbiArt engine, so that looked pretty neat.
Nice. All right. Well, we do have some calls coming in, so let's get to it. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
It's Ranma.
Hey, Ranma. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How is everybody there?
It's a full house tonight. We're great. A little hot in here, but you know.
Hey, Ranma.
You're still a dick, Jayveemon.
Wait, why are you a dick? What'd you do?
For the Buff Boys comment.
Oh.
What else?
The private conversation on your Facebook that most of our listeners probably won't see. Sorry. What's up, Rama? What do we owe this phone call?
Well, before we get into that, Rob, I want you to know you've had too much candy. You're not allowed to have any more.
But candy's delicious. Why can't I have candy?
Especially since I brought some over.
You know what? Fuck your rules. I'm eating candy right now. Fuck your rules. Fuck them.
Yeah, but that type of candy might get your ass beat, okay?
You're not the boss of me.
Oh, that's not my job.
All right. What else is on your mind, buddy?
I was listening earlier and you were talking about the whole thing about Comic-Con, so I figured let me chime in real quick and give you, like, the meat and potatoes of all of that.
Please.
See, I didn't go because I can't justify taking a day off of work just to stand 8 hours on a line in a comic book shop for a 3 or 4 day badge where by the time I get to the front, they're sold out. So that's my main reason for not going. But as you saw, a picture went viral that a friend of mine took about the weapons. Pretty much what was happening was you had a basic set of rules on the website, which did not reflect the rules on the mobile site. So pretty much staff was pretty much confiscating weapons left and right, and people got upset that they're confiscating weapons that people have been working on for days, weeks, hours, months, whatever, which I understand. But if the rules say that the weapons have to be made of cardboard or foam, and you go out and start making it out of different materials to kind of make it stand out, and they take it, you have no one except yourself but to blame. Now they were actually throwing them out for a little bit. The next day on Friday, they more or less cleared it up, saying, "Well, if it looks too realistic, you're not going to be able to come into the Javits Center with it. We're going to take it, tag it, and you'll be able to pick it up later."
This sounds like a mess, though. I mean, doesn't that make you kind of question the organization of it, though? I mean, especially with these people standing in line for forever. Come on, that shit. Who has fun doing that? That pisses me off more than anything. I swear to God, if I go to BlizzCon and I have to stand in line all fucking day to get a badge, I'm gonna be pissed right from the get-go after all the money paid for it or whatever. Like, nothing drives me crazier than that stuff. So why couldn't they figure out a way to do that online and what have you? And then it's really crappy that they had that miscommunication between online and what have you. So that, I don't know, that's kind of frustrating too.
I know, and I've had a couple of staffers contact Comic-Con, and I posted the response emails on my website so people can see what was going on. And it's pretty much like I said, if it looks like a weapon, it will be confiscated, done and done. But Rob, you're sitting here complaining about what's going on with Comic-Con, which I understand, but I don't know if you know this, but the people that run Comic-Con are the same people that run PAX, so you shouldn't be surprised.
Touche. Brad from Pop Culture says, "Be glad you weren't at previous Dragon Cons. The line there used to be horrible." Yeah, I've heard stories. Yeah, thank God they fixed that up. This year was great. I walked right in. Just took me 5 minutes. It was awesome.
Which is good. I mean, a lot of conventions do that, but I'll admit, when I went to Comic-Con last year for one day, I got there about 10 o'clock that morning. I was in about 15 minutes because they kind of spread it out with the checkpoints for you to get in to tap your badge. And I guess yesterday, because it started raining pretty bad, everyone was kind of huddled up together, and I'm just like, "Whoo, good thing I'm not going."
Yeah, Bob Coffey in our chat says, "Be glad you weren't at Anime Expo this year, the line con of death." Yeah, I heard stories. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I kind of toyed with that. I made this meme called Line Con the Game, and it was like easy, normal, hard, God mode. And I think I put that for God mode Anime Expo.
Now, the question everybody wants to know is, for all the troubles of standing in line and having weapons confiscated, was there a ball pit to be given an hour in?
Actually, no, there was no ball pit this year.
What a failure of a con. All right, I'm kidding. I know some people might have.
No, you trust me. Your sentiments is echoed across everybody, and you know how it is. I can't stand this. I'm not going. Months later, you going to Comic-Con? Hell yeah, I'm going.
Exactly right. Exactly. I'll be back. Heck yeah. All right, Rom, I'm going to let you go to see if we can get some more calls in, but thank you as always. An anime jam session Tuesday nights here at VOG.
Doing a complete roasting of Comic-Con, so bring some food, bring some steaks, bring some marshmallows. The flame is going to be mighty high.
And bring some Kahlua. Did you see those marshmallow shots with Kahlua in them?
No, I got something better.
What's that? Quickly.
Deep fried tequila shots.
No, I'm not a tequila person.
What?
I'm not a tequila person.
What is this?
You
It
heard about
sounds
this?
amazing.
Deep fried tequila shots, yeah. Well, they do deep fried Kool-Aid. Why not?
Why do I not have this in me right now?
Make this. You take pound cake, and you cut it up into little blocks, you let the tequila soak in it, and then you deep fry it and add powdered sugar,
But
just like Mom used to make.
when you cook it, wouldn't the alcohol boil? All right, forget it. Well,
No, because the pound cake soaks so much of it in, and when you deep fry it,
got it. All right, this ain't a damn cooking show. We'll talk to you later.
That's because Logan didn't bring any bacon.
There might have been bacon on that burger. I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't very good either.
All right.
Which is
Rama,
sad.
bye.
Aye.
All right. 1-877-GAME-OLR.
Well, see, that's the thing is I used to get was that they have those like special like triple it was a third pound burgers or whatever, and then they converted them into their new quarter pounders. And the quarter pounder one, the difference was that they used red onions in it and stuff like that. But now in their signs, now with white onions. So basically, it's a fucking quarter pounder with bacon, and they charge
at least
extra
it's
for it.
not those freaking onions that
different
were
bun.
dehydrated and shit. That stuff was nasty.
The bacon was not good though. It's just like it tasted really weird. And the white onions are not good either because they've been sitting there all day long. I don't know.
Actually, true story. You know that's what makes potato salad go bad is not mayonnaise or the potatoes. It's the onions being set out in the sun. Be very careful if you eat raw onions that have been sitting out. Just saying.
Well, I will not, touch potato salad because of the mayonnaise word. And you all know how I feel about mayonnaise. Can't stand it.
It's amazing.
Mayonnaise.
Amazingly barf when I eat it because
And today's opposite day, so you mean it's great.
Now I hear there's a potato salad that's made with mustard. I'm okay with that.
Well, no, wait. When I make potato salad, I actually will use mayonnaise and mustard in it because mustard will offset sweetness in some of the other ingredients, and it comes out very balanced and very nice. That's how we do it in the South. Just saying.
The way Rob feels about mayonnaise is the way I feel about mustard.
I won't eat mustard on its own because I hate mustard.
See, it does seem like people are in
salad.
one camp or the other. Like you don't have a lot of people that are both, except Jamie.
Mustard is an ingredient, not a condiment.
When I make potato salad, I make it with potato, bacon, butter, salt and pepper, and I bake it. Oh wait, that's a big potato. I don't like potato salad.
Yeah, Piper.
Not just say this isn't a cooking show.
I know, right? Well, nobody's calling.
We always talk
Orange
about
Lounge
food.
Studio.
You can always talk about potatoes. Like I don't care.
Never mayonnaise.
Does food never come up on Multitap Podcast? Never ever.
I don't know.
Pipe.
Microphones.
Microphones. Don't forget.
I have to go back to the backlog. It's all on YouTube, but we have to have talked about food at some point.
I'll just have to listen to every episode and find out.
There's only like 9.
We talk about alcohol sometimes.
Okay, well, that's a food
it's
group.
consumable.
What about the drunk cast coming up?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a drunk cast coming up.
Oh, the days.
The days, the days. Try not
Yes,
to do what I did when you're running up the wall. No, you're lying
Running
down
up the wall.
No, yeah, I was lying down, kicking the wall, yelling, "I'm in the Matrix! I'm in the Matrix!" Keep in mind, this is an episode of OLR that happened, and I was so drunk. And then Jamie went and passed out in my bed.
I didn't pass out in your bed. I was laying there sobering, and then Loki brought me waffles, and I felt better.
Loki cooked waffles during the show.
That's awesome.
Why? Why not?
And I was sober like 5 seconds after eating a waffle.
We also cook
Is
super
it-
bacon.
Is it kind of like that one time, Rob, when you got drunk when we had a cast party for Rocky and you were laying on the ground leaving a voicemail for us and someone threw a condom on your chest and you didn't know for like 10 minutes that
Yeah,
condom
that
was
was.
just
I think that was an
sitting there?
Understation Live voicemail.
Was this Rocky or Rocky Horror?
Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Remember
Could
our
you imagine
Rocky
shadow
shows?
casting Rocky?
Adrian, I love you.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Go into some of the some of the tweets that we have. Oh my god, it's ringing. The phone's ringing. Oh my god. Hi, you're on Orange Radio. Who's this?
Hey, this is Def.
Hey, Def. How you doing?
Hey, pretty good. I want to make a follow up to Smash Brothers.
You want to make a what of Smash Brothers?
A follow up.
Oh, a follow up. Yeah, sure. What's how has Smash Brothers been treating you this week?
Well, it has been pretty good. Yesterday I went to a convention. Speaking of, and I entered a tournament with others playing Smash Brothers on the 3DS, and I did pretty well. Though, here's my probably complaint about the game, and probably other people have said about it, but it's an issue, and it's the local multiplayer. It lags like really bad in some aspects, and it makes the game a little frustrating to play even.
I have heard that Smash multiplayer will get laggy, and I don't know if that's just because maybe the 3DS has an older communication technology in it, or especially at a convention, you probably have a lot of interference. You know, the radio signals or whatever the hell the 3DS is using to communicate, probably it's interfered with everybody's cell phone and, you know, credit card systems and the dealer's hall and all this other stuff. Like, convention's probably one of the worst possible places to play a multiplayer game like that, because, and I'm sure, especially in Smash, you have a lot of data being transferred back and forth real quick. You guys were just playing a match before the show, Irene, and you guys, was it working for you guys?
Luxuriously. It was seamless.
Right, but that's maybe because we didn't have a lot of interference here going on at the time.
So it worked beautifully. There were just the two of us, though, so it wasn't a 4-player match. You can do 4-player, correct? And there's you guys have a network in the studio, but there's not a whole lot going on, so it's...
Right.
So I'm assuming it's going to be something like that, technology-based.
So that could be a difference at Deft, but it still sucks. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to be like, oh, this could be the reality.
No, and even then, it wasn't like really that bad. It wasn't horrible, but we were playing in some matches, and suddenly it just lagged like out of nowhere. But yeah, it was probably that a lot of interference. A lot of people were playing. There were at least I think 30 people playing on the tournament. So yeah, it's
that's
gonna be
with that many 3DSs. That's got to be an issue right there. Like surely there's some type of like limitation, but. Man, all that talk about conventions and playing the 3DS and all that, actually, it makes me miss the days of Picto Chat. Like, I know that was an old school DS thing, but remember penis chat at every convention you'd go to? Oh, my gosh. It's not really a thing anymore. I mean,
or standing in line at E3 and realizing you were Picto Chatting your friend who was, like, 2 people behind you.
Exactly. And, like, you know, all these people you might see on the internet, you're Picto Chatting with them, and it's like, hey, here's a penis I drew. Ha, ha, ha. So... Anyway, Explicit in chat agrees with that. 30 people is going to be an issue. Well, how was the con otherwise?
It was pretty good. It was fantastic. A lot of things happening, especially in the gaming section. They had some people playing on PCs. There was a Just Dance tournament too. It was pretty good.
Did you get
overall.
up there and shake your butt to some Just Dance songs?
I didn't get to play. I was kind of busy with the Smash tournament and other things, and I sadly couldn't get in.
Wait,
so, yeah.
Did they have board games?
Oh yeah, a lot of them too.
Okay, did they have?
There was a
Jenga?
section even for card games and board games too. So yeah, it was a pretty good con.
But did
a lot of things to do, but sadly I couldn't do that much.
But did they have Jenga?
Rob, get the fuck over Jenga.
No, I will never get the fuck. Okay, did they have Don't Break the Ice?
Okay, okay, that one's legitimate. That's all legitimate.
Anyway,
hey, remember we had Don't Break the Jenga.
Yeah, Don't Break the Jenga. Explicit one. So, what con was this?
Oh, it's Shinigami Fest. It's in Mexicali, Mexico. So yeah, if you live near this in Southern California area, you may visit it next year. But yeah, for everyone else, probably it's gonna be far.
Might be a little bit far. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Act F, thanks so much for the call. Glad to hear you had a good time at the con. You know, 3DS communication troubles, outstanding.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, anytime. Bye-bye.
Bye.
1-877-GAME-OLR, or username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. We can maybe squeeze in one more call, although we are running a little bit over. So I do want to try to wrap up with some of these tweets here. So if you want to get in quick. We have some tweets here. We have Alex P. Carson tweeted us saying, tuned into OLR after a year-long hiatus. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Where the hell have you been? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Things change. People got other stuff to do and what have you. I mean, Princess Irene hasn't been here for like 2 years.
But seriously, don't leave again.
Yeah, I will find you. I'm just kidding. All right. Let's see. Satura tweeted us saying, and I always mispronounce your name, and I'm so sorry, but tweeted us a story that says Sony working diligently, in quotes, on The Last Guardian. Great news. Maybe that's what they're going to fucking get people to pay $90 to go see for 2 days in Vegas.
It's a hoax again, dude. They've been talking about this for a decade and change.
Yeah,
hey,
but
I'm working diligently on The Last Guardian as well.
You know what? Finally, Duke Nukem Forever happened. Final Fantasy 15 might actually happen. Right. Do you know, somebody put it in perspective. Final Fantasy 13 Versus, what it was originally called, right, was announced before the iPhone.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
How many systems? Was it just 2 systems ago?
No, it was supposed to be when 13 came out. 13 was early in the life of the PlayStation 3. For a Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 13 came out really early in the console's life.
I thought they had pushed it because it was originally supposed to be a different one. They had made several in between that, so it was originally supposed to be back a couple.
I think you're thinking of Agato, which was supposed to be the PSP one.
Agato became 0.
Yeah. That's the one that changed.
But didn't they originally develop 13 for the PS2 and then switched it to the PS3?
They might have.
That's what I remember reading. It was like, because it took a while for 13 to come out, but that's because they had to switch it from being PS2 to PS3.
Could be. That actually would make a lot of sense. But then you look at Final Fantasy 12, which came out so late in the life, but
so underrated.
It's so underrated, and I really hope that's in line to get the HD treatment at some point. So one game I didn't talk about during my gaming week because I didn't get to play a lot of it, but since no other calls are coming in, I'm going to shut down the Skype line. I'll quickly talk about this. Final Fantasy 13 came out on Steam this week, right? So I did download that and check it out a little bit. Oh my God, get this, the game is 56 gigs because it has the full English and Japanese audio, which I don't think the PlayStation 3 release had both. But because I downloaded it early, it had to decrypt on my computer. I had to free up 100 gigabytes on my hard drive to install this stupid game.
That's redonkulous.
And then, no, what's redonkulous is that you can either play in full screen mode, which has the wrong aspect ratio for my monitor, so it's all squished, or you can play in one resolution window, and you can't resize the window.
35 gigs of that is devoted to Zaz's hair.
But seriously, get the fuck out of here with that lazy fucking port.
They already have a hack to change the resolution.
So somebody else did Square's job for them, essentially. That is bullshit. Come on.
It runs at a higher resolution, but here's the thing, though. It looks like shit because all the cutscenes are still at 720, and on top of that, the LOD textures and stuff are very low res, so it looks like shit when you up-res it.
You know what, though? But I will say this. In that window, which wasn't the same size as my monitor, but in the window, the game did look really fucking good. Because it runs very smoothly on the PC and so forth. I will give it that. It looked really fucking good, but I was really driven bonkers that I couldn't, just make that fill my screen. How fucking hard is that?
Though, I'm surprised. I mean, I forget. Was that 3 or 4 discs? I guess it was 4 discs, so...
It was 4 discs.
Maybe... I don't know, but that would still be only 45 gigs.
I've been trying to decide whether or not I actually want to get it. I mean, my computer would probably run it really well, but at the same time...
Why couldn't they have the Japanese
take the grain of salt what I just gave you.
It's free DLC or something.
Wait for a Steam sale.
Is Vanille really fucking annoying still?
I think Vanille is underrated because a lot of people base their judgment off Final Fantasy 13 off the first 10 hours, which I understand. I mean, that's a long fucking investment in the game.
Rephrase my
but these
question.
characters get better towards the end.
Is her voice acting still really fucking annoying?
Yes, of course.
Well, I just plan on playing it in Japanese anyway.
Play it in Japanese and it'll be less annoying.
I don't know. Her Japanese voice actor is kind of annoying too.
Hope might be okay.
Just to kind of cap on it, I think they did this for Dark Souls. Was it Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 1 where it was had some kind of bullshit resolution thing and some fan made a patch. It was like a 128 kilobyte patch that made the whole game better. So this happens.
Let's see. Alan Alchemy is jumping in saying Final Fantasy 13 for PC has a nasty bug where you get stutters and pauses if you don't have a USB controller plugged in. Wow, that's crazy. If I put a USB controller in, to be fair, you should be using one, but come the fuck on, and that fixed it. So I'm sorry, this port has some serious problems, and I think for me to buy another Square port in the future, I need them to come out and say what they're going to do better next time. I'm not buying any more of their Steam ports blind. That was a stupid decision on my part.
I will be perfectly honest, though. I have no problem with fan-made mods because, hello, I play Mass Effect.
Yeah, I know, but... And I don't get me wrong, I totally embrace the modding community, and that's awesome, but like when they're having to do the job that the porters should have done, kind of have a problem with that. So... Anyway, not to end on a negative note, but oops. All right, anyway. No, we have positive note because we had some great guests on the show tonight. So I want to make sure, quickly, any other last-minute stories? Anything? No? All right, then we'll close up shop here. I want to thank, once again, Bodie from Lunar Games for coming on the show tonight. Fantastic interview. Best of luck with the game. Really appreciate it. And thank all of you here in studio as well. I'm going to go around and get some final thoughts from you guys. Jayveemon, do you have a final thought before you head back over to New York City? In a week, I guess, but still.
I'm finally going to start playing Final Fantasy 14 again.
Good call. It's a fun game.
Join our server.
Yeah,
I did.
Play with us.
Oh, okay. Play with us.
Rob just needs to add me.
Okay, well.
And I kind of miss playing Dance Central Spotlight, even though I hate the whole piecemeal garbageness.
I heard a lot of the dances are just kind of lifted from the older games. Is that true?
Some of the moves are just like ripped straight from Dance Central 3, but it's still pretty and fun, even though the first song they force you to play is the Will.i.am and Justin Bieber song.
That's so fucked up.
So even right there, I was like, and I almost want to never play this again.
Are you going to get the Fantasia game, though? Because I'm really curious to know how that is.
That's out in 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, that's really soon. So by time next
But
year.
there's so many
I can't
things coming
touch
out,
a
'cause,
game
like,
that includes
Bayonetta is
Bieber.
coming out, too.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
true.
Bayonetta, Fantasia.
Exciting time in gaming. I know.
My wallet's weeping silently in my pants.
Any final thought for us tonight?
No.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your trip here in Northern
Thank you.
California, and come back. We'll see you in a year.
Maybe sooner.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
All right. I like that attitude. All right. Piper, my new friend from the Multitap Podcast. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me. This was fun. I was looking
Did you
forward
have fun?
to this.
Good.
I did.
Good. It's important. Best of luck with your show. Jamie, stop distracting.
It was one of my mods.
No, okay. Best of luck with the show and all that fun stuff.
Thank you. We don't have. I mean, even if nobody listens, we'll keep doing it because it's too fun.
That is the important thing. You know what? And for so long, OLR, because like the first episode had 12 listeners, and I think the second episode had like 9. So
I feel like the saddest human ever. Like if all the rest of the crew quits, I'll probably just be talking, just like, hey, thanks for coming back again. And
if you don't love doing it, then stop doing it. And that's why there's so many people, like especially when the podcasting, like, and all these corporate people were like, we got to do a podcast because that's where the money's at. And you heard all these people that so didn't want to be there. I'm just like, get out of the pool. Right. You're ruining it. But like, if you're having fun doing it, then keep creating. It's, even if you're in an echo chamber, it can be a lot of fun.
And listeners or not, if anybody ends up listening from this show, come December, we're doing the Mean Girls Jingle Jam. It's happening.
Yes.
You have my attention.
We have 2 listeners for December.
There you go. There, see, you just got more listeners right there. It is lovely to see you again, Princess Irene. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I was very happy to be here tonight.
Yeah.
It was great.
So we'll come back. Try not to wait 2 years before coming back, okay?
No promises. No,
remind us again how to listen to Multitap Podcast.
with your ears, stupid. So you can go to ffop.net. Yeah, which is Fistful of Potions. And then... Or fistfulofpotions.com.
Or I'm surprised with you, Irene, and I can say this because I've known you a very long time. I'm surprised it's not Fistful of Poo.
I didn't come up with this. You know it would be Fistful of Poo if I made it up. Come on now.
With a big monkey as the logo.
Exactly. Pixel Shits, the podcast. That's going to be our offshoot podcast. Yeah.
Multitap into Google. It's like as 2 words. It's like the first thing that shows up.
Oh, wow.
Sweet. So, yes, you can Google it as well, and you can find us on Twitter at Multitap Podcast. And I don't know why we have 2 website URLs, but who gives a shit? Just ease of use, I guess. Yeah, we're on the Facebooks.
On the Facebooks,
yeah.
the Twitters. Do you have an LO yet? Yeah, no, everybody forgot about LO. Like, LO just came and went, didn't it?
LO went goodbye.
LOL. All right.
Oh, that was dumb. All right.
All right, final thought for our listeners tonight.
Poop.
I wish they all
All right. I didn't ask, Piper, I didn't ask you properly your final thought. Do you have a final thought for our listeners tonight?
I wish they all could be California girls.
All right. My final thought tonight, as always, I say support indie podcasting. And if you didn't like this show, then at least check out another show. Support the hardworking indie broadcasters out there. And, one thing I've kind of said this week is that, if you really want to fight the corruption that you see out there in these big name websites, and you want to fight that type of, corruption you see out there, I think one of the best things you can do is create. And if you want to go out there and create a podcast, know that we support you 100%. And, support your fellow indie broadcasters. Just make sure you create to support and not create to destroy. Because if you create to shade other people and stuff, then you know what? Go sit on attack. Just, don't even bother.
And don't poop on other podcasts.
Exactly. It's not classy. Be a classy broadcaster. Yes, Piper?
I had a thought to tack onto that. I heard I used to... damn it, I'm good.
All right.
I listened or watched, I guess, a lot of Kevin Smith, and I still do, and he was really inspiring with that. So that's a good message where he says, I think people would ask him for support. They'd say, what should I do to, make this story or make this movie, or would you help it? And his advice was just fucking do it, man.
That's right.
So it's just,
just fucking do it.
Just fucking do it, man.
All right. And my proper final thought that I don't give you every week is I might kidnap that box of yummy chocolate. What is that you brought?
I brought it to
it's
leave
so
here.
Good.
Chocolate baton.
It was
Chocolate
like
baton
$2
is so
at
good.
Trader Joe's.
Thank you, Trader Joe's. Thank you, base Trader Joe's.
No, thank you, me, because I paid my $2 for it.
That's true. All right. Do you want $1 or something? I'll get my wallet.
No,
All right.
you could. I brought them for you to have.
Yay, gifts.
We can't keep food at my house because we're moving.
All right. Well, my gift to you is your final thought next. Start Sakura.
I want to already be moved. I'm tired of the waiting for the date.
Moving sucks already, and you haven't packed a box.
No, we've already started packing, actually. Okay. We got rid of a lot of DVDs, including some of our box sets like TNG and Futurama and The Simpsons, and my entire run of Stargate SG-1. But however, we're now $150 richer because of everything. And I actually gave the good DVDs to friends first, because I'd rather just say, hey, I gave you this. Let me borrow it.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Next up is the books, then the vault. Not looking forward to it. But we're going to a better place.
I know.
It'll
be fun.
Dying?
No.
We're going to a
She's not going to hell
now.
like
yes,
you.
Yes, I'm dyeing my hair in 2 weeks. Actually, I'm going fire red with purple tips.
Nice.
Because I can do that now.
You're going to look
like
an anime character when you come back.
I had already. How long did I have fuchsia hair?
I know.
And Smurf blue that did not look good. But I found white hairs because I'm old. And so I said that when I get a lot more of them, I'm actually going to bleach my hair out and dye it blue so I can be a crazy blue-haired old lady.
All right, we'll all be waiting. All right, last but not least, Loki, your final thought.
Watching the kid this week, and so hopefully I get some more programming in during his naps.
Just do it. Remember, that was the advice earlier. Just fucking do it. All right. Have a great week off, everybody. Remember, we're going to be off next week, and if you guys happen to be in Vegas, come say hi. I'll be at FanFest. I'll either be on the show floor or I'll be at the bar.
You know what will be sad?
What?
No tiara.
I know. She's not in Vegas now.
Nope.
Yeah. I don't know if I know anybody still in Vegas. Everybody I knew that was there, I think, moved. But
I have friends now through Tiara, but I won't be there, so you can't meet any of those awesome people.
All right, well, then fine, I won't. So I will. We'll see you guys all again in 2 weeks with an all-new Orange Lounge Radio. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you then. Good night.
You've been listening to Orange Lounge Radio. Orange Lounge Radio is a production of OLR Studios. To join us for a live show, tune into vognetwork.com Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff of Orange Lounge Radio or VOG Network. but you know they were all still true. See you next week.